night. Officers say he'd been yelling and throwing trash around a church property in the University District. When police showed up, he brandished a machete and barricaded himself near the building's main entrance. Responders had to evacuate the building and blocked off Northeast 50th Street. They say they tried to talk the man down, but ultimately had to use a taser to disarm the suspect and take him into custody. And Seattle police are trying to find a group of people who shot up a car in South Park. A 19-year-old said he was driving along South Cloverdale Street Tuesday night when it happened. Luckily, he was only hit in the ankle, but the car was damaged extensively. If you know anything, call the Seattle Police Department Violent Crimes Tip Line. Authorities say Tacoma City Hall was forced into a lockdown when a former Human Services Commissioner made violent threats.
Tacoma City Hall went into lockdown on January 6th after police say a woman sent dozens of violent threats to city employees and healthcare workers, many of them mentioning an AK-47. Prosecutors have charged 63-year-old Kimberly Ann Ellison with felony harassment and obstruction. KIRO 7 TV reports that according to a city employee, Ellison had openly discussed past struggles with addiction and mental illness. In Tacoma, Frank Lindsay, KIRO Newsradio.
Storm damage from last month's floods could hit $50 million just to repair the roads. That's the word from state transportation officials. WashDOT's Steve Rourke told the House Transportation Committee it's just an estimate for now.
And I would say that it's too soon to know what the federal funding is going to look like, how much of our federal appropriation will be eligible to be spent.
He says in previous disasters, the feds covered up to 90% of the costs. The state is still preparing to ask FEMA for a disaster declaration. Inflation is up nationwide, and it's even higher in our region.
Nationally, the Consumer Price Index rose 2.7% over the past year, but in the Seattle area, it increased 3.1%. Food here went up 4.4% overall. That includes a 1.5% hike in your grocery bill and 7.6% increase eating out. Energy prices, including gas, advanced 7.2%. You're paying over 5% more for medical care and 1.7% extra for shelter. Heather Bosch, KIRO News Radio.
A little relief for disappointed skiers and boarders. Stevens Pass is offering refunds after December's highway closures left them without access to the resort. The resort says it's making a one-time exception to its policy, giving eligible pass holders a prorated refund. It covers 9 days of lost access between December 23rd and 31st. That's about 7% of the core season. Stevens Pass calls it a special step to make things right after a tough start to the season. Now it's 5:13. Let's get a check on your roads. And I'm looking at a whole lot of green. Speed limit drive almost anywhere you want to go. Let's check some travel times. Tacoma to Seattle, 38 minutes. Everett to Seattle, 35 minutes. Auburn to Renton, 20 minutes. And Bothell to Bellevue, 21 minutes. Weather. Cloudy skies with some morning fog, high around 51. Going to have a little bit winds, but they'll stay light and variable throughout the day, high of 51 degrees. It's 50 degrees right now in downtown Seattle. Coming up, New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold breaks down the legal case against Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. This is KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan, presented by Carter Subaru.
More like Choke Point. The new year brings a big new headache for the thousands of you commuting south on I-5 into Seattle. The latest phase of Revive I-5 is underway, and it won't be finished anytime soon. I've got you covered with traffic on the threes every morning from 6 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News. Nate Connors has you covered every afternoon. We're always hunting for alternate routes, and we'll help you get where you need to be a little faster. On KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
It's a new year, which means a new opportunity to grow your business. WaFd Bank Business Checking can help you hit the ground running. Our accounts are designed to help business owners like you manage cash flow, pay vendors, and keep operations running smoothly every day. Get access to digital tools like bill pay, mobile deposit, signer and non-signer debit cards, and the option to upgrade your account as your business grows. WaFd business bankers get to know you, so when you need help, we're there for you. WaFd Bank, built for business. Visit wafdbank.com. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
I'm worried.
About what?
Water.
Oh?
Hot water, if you really want to know.
What?
water heater worries?
Worried it's wearing down.
Running out?
The hot doesn't last like it used to.
So you're...
Worried.
I got a guaranteed fix.
Let me guess. A new water heater.
Right, but...
That's what worries me.
Well, worry no more.
Why?
What you need is an Apollo Plumbing water heater.
Because?
We include Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
Wrenchy's what?
Worry-free warranty.
Which means?
When it wears out, we replace it.
No extra charge.
As an A-List Club member, you're covered for life.
For life?
For as long as you're an A-List member, you get annual life-extending water heater flushes included.
So it lasts longer.
Right.
And when it needs replacement,
you're covered.
With no worries.
Because it's Wrenchy's
worry-free warranty.
What else would you expect from the Ready Right Now plumbers?
Apollo Plumbing.
Home of Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
What about tankless ones?
Worry-free too.
Gotta love that Wrenchy.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
I love the fact that Mike Novak sells more homes than anybody else. This guy works so hard. You know what's happening? People are selling their homes again. And if you don't have Mike Novak's name on that sign, well, you're wasting your time and your house is just going to be sitting on the market. Mike is so confident that he can sell your house quickly. And for more, you'll pay no commission if Mike Novak doesn't sell that home in 21 days. So go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell Novaks for you. Novaks. Meetthenovaks.com.
Reliable, refreshing, and ready every morning. Seattle's Morning News.
We call up New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold to talk about the big stories of the week. And good morning, David. Let's start with the Federal Reserve. We have a lot of moving pieces here. Bring us up to speed. What's happening there, and what are you looking for?
So everyone probably remembers that there's a guy named Jerome Powell, who was the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Trump has been on him in his first term. Trump appointed him, but Trump's been on him in his first term and in his second term for not lowering interest rates more. Jay Powell and the Fed have said they're keeping interest rates higher to avoid inflation. Trump wants them to lower them so that people can more easily buy houses, pay for credit cards, that kind of thing. And so he's pressured Powell. Powell has not really given in, but he's avoided a political fight so far. And Powell is leaving in a few months anyway, so Trump will get to appoint his successor as chair, although Powell will stay on as one of the board members of the Fed. Anyway, that's why Trump doesn't like Jay Powell. And as sort of a new part of that pressure campaign, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Jeanine Pirro, the former TV host that Trump appointed, is now investigating Jay Powell criminally under allegations that he lied to Congress about the cost or the nature of renovations that he is doing to the Federal Reserve building itself. I don't think a lot of people really believe there's much there criminally. I mean, why would he lie to Congress about something he's paying for with his own money? You mean the Fed's own money? But this is just another way of the Trump, like he's used against James Comey, Ambassador John Bolton, Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, people that Trump doesn't like. In his second term, he's found these prosecutors who are willing to try to use the criminal justice system basically to go after people that Trump doesn't like for political reasons or personal reasons. This is another example of that, but it's more damaging to Trump in this case because the independence of the Fed is something that a lot of people in the economy care about. And if he seemed to be sort of, overrunning that and making the Fed more of his personal plaything, it could really undermine a lot of faith in the U.S. economy more generally.
I'm noticing some pushback from the right on this. Can you explain what's happening there?
Yeah, Trump has tried to lower interest rates at the Fed, which would bring down the interest rates people would be able to pay on new houses and mortgages. He's also tried to impose a cap on credit card interest rates, which is something he can't do legally. He needs Congress to do that. So Trump is recognizing that there are a lot of people who are unhappy about the economy. And he's trying to just, first of all, do what Biden did and just tell people that they're wrong and the economy is great, but also to try to do these things to pressure people to lower things, like these interest rates that could be weighing on consumers. So the problem here is that this is not the way the economy is supposed to run in the U.S. One of the reasons we have the greatest economy in the world and we're the sort of center of the world's economy is that we have this independent central bank that isn't just sort of changed on the president's whim. The president can't lower it or raise it to win a reelection campaign or something like that, because that's bad for the economy in the long term. You need somebody who's thinking about long-term inflation. And so the system was created to put that decision in the hands of people who are independent, who are not thinking about their own reelection. So if Trump undermines that, it could lose a lot of people a lot of money because people would lose faith in the U.S. economy. I think that's why you're seeing that kind of pushback.
What are people saying about Powell's potential replacement here in a couple months?
So Trump has said he's settled on a candidate, although he has not said who it is. I think people think it's either going to be a guy named Kevin Hassett, who's a Trump appointed advisor, or maybe Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary now. Both of those people are being appointed because they'll do Trump's bidding. They're unlike Jay Powell, who was appointed by Trump but never sort of swore allegiance to him. Both of those people are going to be people who are going to do, at least at the beginning, what they think Trump wants, which is to lower interest rates. So the risk that we're going to get the president dictating interest rates, I think, is going to come true pretty soon. The question is just whether Trump can have it a little earlier and whether he can do that by sort of using the criminal justice system against Powell.
I want to transition over to Venezuela. It sounds like some blunt candor from the Exxon CEO to the president.
Yeah, I think Trump had this belief, which I don't know what was really based on, that once he took Maduro out of Venezuela, got this more compliant government in Venezuela, that the U.S. oil companies would come rushing back in because Venezuela does have these enormous oil reserves. And I think what he's heard from ExxonMobil and a bunch of other oil companies that they're not that interested in it. And that's partly because the actual oil itself in Venezuela is crude, is heavier, goopier, harder to refine. It's also because the infrastructure in Venezuela is old and decaying, hasn't been kept up in many years. It would take a ton of money to sort of get it up and running, and then you'd be making a long-term bet on this really unstable country. And the third thing is that oil prices are generally pretty low around the world. So introducing a huge new glut of supply is not going to help ExxonMobil's bottom line or anybody else's, because it's going to lower prices further. So there's been a real leeriness by the oil companies to jump back in, which I think surprised Trump and has frustrated his plans to turn Venezuela into kind of an oil colony of the United States.
All right, New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold. David, thanks as always. We'll check in next week.
Thank you.
Good morning. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, and we're going to warm up to about 51 degrees, starting with a fog in some areas and drizzle, but we're going to have mostly cloudy skies today. Winds will be light and variable. Tomorrow we could actually get a glimpse of the sun in the afternoon. Right now it is 50 degrees in downtown Seattle. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, and coming up, G. Scott swings by with his thoughts on the upcoming Seahawks matchup against the 49ers.
The first few steps that I took in the morning were pretty painful.
This is Carlos.
I mean, I had been told by multiple orthopedic surgeons that there was no alternative for me.
That wasn't what he wanted to hear. You see, Carlos is an active guy.
I played basketball, and for 3 to 4 days after, my knees would just be so swollen. And now I can play basketball, and there is no swelling. There is no pain in the knees.
No swelling, no pain, because Carlos went to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm just happy to be able to be out there, and then knowing that tomorrow I am not going to suffer for this.
What do you say to your friends and family who are in pain?
I say, I had horrible knee pain, and stem cells really worked for me. You might want to go to Dr. Wagner, just get a consultation before you have surgery.
Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Save $600 on windows and $1,500 on doors at Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Enjoy easy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest financing for 12 months, plus a lifetime installation warranty. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than to tear out. Stop waiting. For 18 years, we've been honored to serve thousands of happy customers, and we'd love to serve you. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
It's cold outside, and if you're noticing it's taking forever to heat your home, there are cold spots in certain rooms, your furnace turns off and on a lot, or it never stops, or maybe your energy bill is just way too high. These are all warning signs that your home needs a blanket. There may be something wrong with your insulation, which means not only are you uncomfortable in your own home, but you could be wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in lost energy. Call Insulation Northwest today, and we'll send one of our professionals to give you a fast, free energy inspection to determine if there is a problem. And if there is a problem, we can fix it fast. Most jobs are completed in one day. You have nothing to lose. The inspection is free and only takes about an hour and could save you thousands. Keep the heat in, the cold out, and your energy bill low. Call Insulation Northwest today. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company.
Please ask if you qualify for thousands of dollars of free rebates from your energy company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo.
Your best source for local news.
Newly released police video shows the arrest of a 17-year-old.
KIRO Newsradio.
At the Boy Scouts of America, our oath remains. A scout pledges to be kind, helpful, and brave. We're committed to providing a safe and welcoming environment where Scouts can establish the foundations of character that will last a lifetime. Our approach ensures the Boy Scouts of America is building the youth of today into the leaders we'll turn to tomorrow. The Boy Scouts of America. Building character is in our nature. Visit scouting.org to learn more about Scouting.
We know exactly what you're not thinking about right now. Wiper blades. But now that you are, take a moment to think about how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America. Why? Because Rain-X thinks about wiper blades all the time. We obsess, so you don't have to. Simply install our blades and then think about literally anything else. So choose Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blades, and then go back to not thinking about wiper blades. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey there, Dawn Riley with Olympic Hot Tub. It's our clearance savings spectacular, and you don't want to miss it. We're slashing prices on all 2025 hot tubs, saunas, and swim spas. Even bigger savings on floor models ready for delivery. And here's the best part, 0% interest financing through 2031. That's right, no interest for 5 years. Ends January 25th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
The Monsters leaping and rats are moving and molders creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM. Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. A major shot across the bow from the president that could mean billions in canceled federal funding for Washington state. Here's CBS's Steve Kathan.
Stepping up his immigration crackdown, President Trump says Washington will cease federal payments to sanctuary cities and states come the first of next month. Reaction from New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani.
Our values and our laws cannot be bargaining chips. I will always defend this city and every single person who calls this city home, even in the face of threats from the federal administration to withhold funds.
It's a move that will likely end up in court. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Tough times may be ahead, but Washington's governor is confident our state can weather the storm. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch follows the annual State of the State address.
A key part of the governor's address involved affordable housing. Ferguson proposes spending $244 million on housing, an historic investment.
We will build and protect thousands of affordable housing units, make it easier for first-time home buyers to enter the market, and accelerate the process to build housing.
Senate Republican leader John Braun says Ferguson fails to understand the nature of the problem.
This isn't something we're going to fix with more government involvement, more taxes, and more regulation. We need less taxes, less regulation, and less government involvement.
James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson's campaign has been fined for failing to report over $10,000 in child care expenses covered by her parents. According to exclusive reporting on SeattleRed.com, the Seattle Ethics and Elections Commission says the payments count as in-kind contributions and should have been disclosed. Wilson corrected the filings and paid a $250 penalty. So far, no comment from the mayor's office. 7 new lawsuits accuse Providence Health, Kedleck Regional Medical Center, and Kedleck Clinic of failing to protect patients from suspected sexual abuse by an OBGYN. Attorneys say state health records show years of ignored complaints. The filings add to more than 95 survivors now represented in the case. We've reached out to Providence for comment. It is 5:33, and that's when we check traffic. And we are still looking really good on the roads today. No blocking issues that I can see, and green all over the map about a speed limit drive. That means Tacoma to Seattle is about 38 minutes, and Everett to Seattle is 35 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, 21 minutes. Bothell to Bellevue, 21 minutes. Now let's get a check on your weather. Going to be a high of 51 degrees, and we're 1 degree away from that right now. Starting with fog and drizzle, but we're going to have cloudy skies. And tomorrow, morning fog, afternoon sun, high of 50 degrees. Coming up, we're going to get G. Scott on the Seahawks. This is KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
Kind of a big weekend for the Seattle Seahawks.
Kind of?
Okay, very big. Very, very big weekend. Joining the show, G. Scott from the G and Ursula Show. G, let's break it down. You ready?
Under the lights, 5 o'clock Saturday. Love that. First, it's on like Matty Stone. You know what I mean? This Saturday, we found out the time last night. It's 5 p.m. at Lumen Field. Whether you're going to be there or you're going to be at home, either way, it's all good. 12s and that energy is going to be needed to be felt. This is a huge game. You're talking about the equivalent of the Thriller in Manila. Ali Frazier, round 3. Happens at Lumen Field. The Seahawks, you know who won the first one, and we all know who won the second one. Well, this third one is what matters right here. I'm telling you right now. Someone asked me, G, what do you think? It can go either way. It's a division rival, right? The Niners, who I would say, do the Seahawks have kind of an advantage? Yeah. Let's talk about those advantages. Number one, they had a bye week. They had some rest. The Niners are beat up.
Yeah.
They did not get home. I kind of know some of the coaches. They did not get home till 2 o'clock in the morning. Then they had the coaches, the players, they were off a little bit, but the coaches had to go right in there to start game planning because the NFL said, hey, you should just go ahead and have your game on Saturday and have another short week. By the way, that is the third short week in the row for the Niners. They have had some injuries. You guys heard about George Kittle.
Yeah,
he's going to be
right?
out. They lost their safety right now, probably won't be back. So as for the Niners, they are definitely uphill climbing because they are just beat up. They haven't had any rest. The Seahawks have. Number 2, the Seahawks are playing at home, baby. And if you're listening right now, and if you are going to have the honor of going to the game this Saturday, and you're saying, wow, this is the first time that I've ever gone to a Seahawks playoff game, I'm going to tell you it is totally different.
Insane.
It is totally, totally different. Oh, I heard the 12s are loud. It's going to be deafening right in there inside of that stadium. So the Seahawks played at home. That hurts for Brock Purdy because he's not going to be able to hear. The offense is not going to get their calls because the Seahawks crowd is going to be nuts. And number 3, the Seahawks are extremely healthy right now. Knock on wood. Charles Cross, left tackle, is going to be coming back.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot of things. So while I say it can go either way, I like the Seahawks' chances.
Like where we are. And are you keeping an eye on any of the other teams, especially after that crazy wild card weekend?
I forced myself to watch last night. I watched the entire game, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Houston Texans. Yes, the Texans won, and it doesn't matter. The Texans will head over to the Patriots, and whatever AFC team comes out and come into the Super Bowl. But I will say the Houston Texans, they have an amazing defense, but they had an amazing defense all season. And if you're thinking, well, the Seahawks beat them, if you go back to that Seahawks game, it was really weird and wonky, and it was that way because they have a very good defense. So, yes, I have been paying attention, Charlie, but more importantly, I've been paying attention to right here. Yesterday on the reset, I had Steve Largent on the show.
Love it.
We talked about rivalries. He talked about JSN. He also talked about why he thinks this team is special. So if you get a chance, go over to the reset on YouTube, and you can hear Steve Largent.
You're listening to KIRO News Radio. It's 5:38. We're going to have some fog sticking around and then drizzle. Coming up, you've got national headlines. I'm Jillian Raftery, and you're listening to KIRO News Radio.
He's the new face of Seattle radio. Wait, it's the same dude, only his face is new? Okay, got it.
Isn't John supposed to be back today?
Ursula, that is John.
Where on his body they're filling that face from?
Looking good, John. Remember, ice packs are your best friend.
Man, it is hard to do a radio show with a bag on your head.
The same John Curley you know and love with a brand new face. Literally. See for yourself on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube page.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
The hard part was determining that I was going to do it, but I definitely didn't do it alone.
At age 30, with the help of her mentor, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
I have a mentor, Maria. She convinced me to continue my education and to finish what I started to get my diploma. Just never judges. She's a true role model. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Thank you, Dr. Wagner. I have a really bad left hip. In fact, this other doctor's like, well, you're going to have to get a hip replacement. I was like, oh, my God. He goes, how old are you? I told him, well, you're going to have to wait a couple of years because we don't want you to wear the hip out. We want you and the hip to both go to heaven together. I was like, well, in the meantime, well, try stretching, aspirin. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm in pain. I can't sleep. I could barely walk. I'd get off a plane and I'm like struggling to even make it down the ramp. I go to see Dr. Wagner. He explains to me how the stem cell procedure works. It's 90 minutes, and I'm telling you right now, I love it. So rather than surgery, make an appointment to see Dr. Wagner. It could be the game changer for you, like it's been for a whole bunch of other people as well. So whether it's your hip or your wrist or your shoulder, your knee, check out Dr. Mark Wagner. I'm telling you right now, stem cell procedure could be the answer for you, as it's been for me. You want to find out more? drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
CBS News Brief. People in Iran contact the outside world on cell phones for the first time since a deadly crackdown on protesters. President Trump is considering military options and imposing penalties. CBS's Bradley Blackburn.
On social media Monday, the president announced a 25% tariff on goods from countries that do business with Iran immediately. Iran's biggest trading partner, China, expressed opposition overnight.
A lawsuit against the feds to block an immigration enforcement surge in the Midwest. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison.
The Trump administration's decision to target Minnesota and Twin Cities is motivated by a desire to retaliate against Trump's perceived political opponents.
Arizona Republican Mark Kelly has filed suit after Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's bid to demote him from his rank as a retired Navy captain.
I just never expected that I would have to protect the rule of law against a Secretary of Defense.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Your KIRO News Radio forecast, warming up to 51 degrees today. We're going to start foggy with some drizzle and clear out to cloudy skies with a chance of seeing the sun tomorrow. Right now it's 50 degrees in downtown Seattle. Coming up, Chris Sullivan with a choke point outlining some of the big transportation budget talks being had at the state legislature. This is KIRO News Radio.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
Well, it's now 6:15. Governor Ferguson wants to add $3 billion to the state transportation budget in this short 60-day legislative session. How he wants to do it is not popular on either side of the aisle.
So Sully is here with that and a look at other transportation issues up for discussion in Olympia.
The governor wants to spend more than $2 billion of that increase on maintenance and preservation, something that the legislature has long ignored. By some previous estimates, Washington underfunds maintenance and preservation by about $1 billion a year. That's just to protect what we already have. But the governor wants to raise that extra money by selling bonds, using revenue from the increased gas tax as collateral. Not a popular idea with House Transportation Committee Chair Jake Fye. He fears that will leave the state with less financial flexibility going forward, very similar to what his Republican counterparts say. He's leaning towards project prioritization and scheduling to move the money from current projects to maintenance.
I think there's a lot to be said for putting more money into preservation and maintenance. Can we see if we can maybe slow down a project or two and put some money more money into preserving and maintaining what we got?
So they all agree that maintaining what we have is a really good thing. How we're going to get the money, that's another issue. And that's something that Jake had mentioned, or Representative Fye, in this short session. He's not sure if the legislature should be focusing on anything new.
We didn't do new things of any consequence last session. It was just filling holes for project overruns like 520. So the idea of doing new stuff is like, where's the money? Where's the money coming from?
There's also expected to be quite a discussion about the ferry system. Everything from delaying the electrification of the fleet to even rethinking the contract to build 3 new electric hybrids, even though that contract's already been signed. Representative Fye says there's a bunch of ideas about this.
I've had people in my office talk about doing the San Juan ferries with hydrogen as a fuel. I've had people come in my office and offer to build and lease back to the to the state ferries. We need to take a look at all of these.
And maybe the biggest discussion of all in transportation will be around the Climate Commitment Act. Not about its fundamentals, but where the money can be spent. As we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, a lot of people are looking at that $5 billion pie and trying to figure out how they can get their hands on it. Governor Ferguson wants to use it for tax credits for working families. Other lawmakers want to use it to pay for the emergency repairs after our historic flooding. Representative Fye isn't a big fan of taking the money from the CCA for non-climate issues.
Many of my constituents complained to me about, well, you sold us on this tax and it was going to be restricted to this purpose, but now you're spending it on something else.
Yeah, so that's a high bar, as he likes to say, for him when he talks about things. There's also one really interesting topic that will be discussed, but maybe not put forward this session. And this one, I think a lot of people will be very interested in. It's surrounding the road usage charge. That's the idea of charging you for every mile that you drive and adding that towards your tabs at the end of the year. It's something that I've been talking about for more than 10 years. Never really has gotten any traction in the legislature. But Representative Fye is looking at something that's just slightly different. It's called a highway user fee, which charges you a fee when you renew your tabs based only on your car's MPG. The threshold, 25 miles per gallon. If you're under that, you don't pay anything extra. If you're higher than that, you pay more. And the more fuel efficient your car is, it gets even higher.
This is where we're losing the money on those vehicles. And people who have vehicles that have less gas mileage are paying a greater share per mile driven. So it gets at the same problem, but it doesn't have the concerns associated with privacy, right, tracking, all of that.
So basically, it's a way to go after electric vehicle owners who do not pay for roads.
Whoa!
With their current, under the current. Yes.
Hey, now I feel like I'm being attacked. Listen, I am an electric vehicle driver. I'll never be a millionaire, so I'll never have the millionaire's tax. But the EV, they're coming after me?
Well, that's a part of a way to recoup the damage to the roadways that's not being recovered by the gas tax.
You know how much I'm paying?
You already got a tax credit for it, didn't you?
No.
That went away last year, though,
yeah.
Both federally and locally. But, yeah, so that's the plan. It's something that's
coming after old Chuck.
Yep. And a lot of people, and again, it doesn't matter how many miles you drive. It doesn't matter where you drive them or how you drive them. It's based solely on your miles per gallon. Virginia is the one state that is running a program just like this. You can go to mynorthwest.com. I have a link to the Virginia's page. It kind of gives you a readout of your miles per gallon and what that might equal. Say my car gets 25 miles to the gallon. I might owe $7 at the end of the year.
How long have they been doing it in Virginia?
A couple years. I mean, it's something that it's relatively new, but it gets rid of the privacy issues here. And it also helps, as I said, the goal here is to recoup miles not gotten from the gas tax for people who have more fuel efficient vehicles. So you can take a look at the table there, kind of see what Virginia is doing. Again, it's a short session. This is something that probably will require a lot more discussion. So I doubt there will be maybe a bill dropped on this, but it's something that they're going to talk about to get at the fundamental issue, which is our gas tax does not go as far as it used to, and we can keep raising it and keep raising it. That only hurts people on the lower income side of things because they have less fuel-efficient cars. So, yeah, it's a way to get after the damage your really heavy battery car gets.
You know, at any point did Representative Fye say, this is really to stick it to Charlie Harger?
No, he did not, but
Okay.
I know he's listening right now and probably laughing on his way to day 2 of the session. Unless he's already living down in Olympia for the session. But, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea because something has to be done to make up that difference, right? Something because the gas tax just doesn't do it anymore. So, yeah,
it's almost like there's a commentary here. Just like the bigger picture when we're talking about this, gas tax ain't working, right?
Right.
The sales tax system we use in this state ain't working. It's sticking it to people who make less.
Correct. They both do.
And nobody is wanting to make any changes. It's almost like we just need to stick this thing in a blender and figure it out and not. Basically, I don't want it all being stuck to me.
And again, now I know a bunch of people are going to get on me and be like, well, EV player, we pay a night. Like, I get it. You have those massive fees every year, but the way the legislature earmarks that money,
don't get me started.
It doesn't necessarily go to roads like the gas tax does. And again, they could change that too, and then go get ready. Make your fees that you do pay, which are high, make them go to roads and maintenance, but they're not. So you could make that change too. But this is just something they're discussing. I knew it would get your blood boiling.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, but I think it get and one of
the
the
I'm
reasons
just trying not to pollute, give a hoot.
Well, I know that's what we've been taught all along, right? Make sure you get a fuel-efficient vehicle.
Yeah,
watch out.
The thing is they're so fuel efficient now that
my bad.
Yeah.
You should not have done what you were told.
And let's face it, your battery is way heavier than my battery. So yeah, you're damaging the roads more, Charlie. Right. You're terrible, to be honest.
I am just a public nuisance.
Yeah, again, by our little discussion here, this is going to be, if they bring it up, it's going to be pretty fiery. Because, this is a massive change in the way we do things and kind of counter to what we've been pushing for 20 years.
Read all about it at mynorthwest.com.
I'm Jillian Raftery. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, and we are starting foggy, going to be drizzly today, but end with some dry clouds. Coming up the next hour, more of the day's top headlines on Seattle's Morning News.
This is what the NFL playoffs are all about.
The Seahawks win the game.
A dominant Seahawks team, 2 wins away from the Super Bowl.
This is the vision that we had for our team.
Hosting a bitter rival.
Richard Sherman tips it.
In front of the best, loudest fans in the game.
Listen to the 12th man.
Let's go. Seahawks 49ers, Saturday night. Kickoff at 5 on the home of the Seahawks. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Happy New Year, Susan. I really appreciate you picking up the bill for lunch.
I'm happy to. One of my New Year's resolutions is being better with money. So I've started using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for buying gas.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I earn cash back just for buying the gas I was already buying.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play and start earning cash back on everyday gas purchases. Use promo code RIDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents per gallon on your next fill up. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RIDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RIDER. Code RIDER.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
She and Ursula, weekdays from 9 to noon on KIRO News Radio.
This is Ricky Rubio, point guard for the Phoenix Suns.
And I'm Holly Robinson Peete, actor and along with Ricky, ambassador for delivering jobs. We know that a job is empowering and instills confidence. Yet 81% of adults with developmental differences don't have a paid job, even though companies that employ people with differences report better morale and higher productivity.
There are 6.5 million people in the U.S. with an intellectual or developmental difference such as autism.
And now, thanks to Autism Speaks, Best Buddies, the Holly Rod Foundation, and Special Olympics, there has never been more opportunity to improve hiring practices and build a more inclusive workforce. Join me, Ricky Rubio, and these amazing organizations in supporting and creating pathways to 1 million employment and leadership opportunities for this talented community.
Visit deliveringjobs.org to learn more.
That's deliveringjobs.org.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than to tear out. Stop waiting. For 18 years, we've been honored to serve thousands of happy customers, and we'd love to serve you. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
She's a gold and platinum selling icon, a modern-day Renaissance woman, an international treasure. Judy Collins brings her legendary voice to Jazz Alley, January 22nd through 25th. Get tickets now at jazzalley.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A funeral procession in Tehran for more than 100 security personnel and civilians killed in massive protests against the government. It comes as Iran's top judge hints at swift trials and executions of violent demonstrators. CBS's Courtney Keeley.
What the regime is doing is trying to break not just the back of people by taking out their loved ones as like in a kill zone, but instill this kind of terror and fear of not being able to reach anybody.
Iranian human rights groups are warning that one 26-year-old protester may be executed a day after President Trump warned on CBS News.
We will take very strong action. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
The president is repeating his threats to seize control of Greenland ahead of a high-stakes meeting at the White House today between representatives from the island, Denmark, Vice President Vance, and Secretary of State Rubio. EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen.
Greenland belongs to its people, so it's up to Denmark and Greenland, and only to them, to decide on matters that are concerning Denmark and Greenland.
President Trump posted anything less than making Greenland a part of the U.S. would be unacceptable. Federal agents continue to use aggressive tactics on anti-ICE protesters in Minnesota. That's anti-ICE agents. There are now about 2,800 officers in the Twin Cities, double the number of local police. U.S. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino.
If they're United States citizens or legal permanent residents or have some type of legal status to be or remain here in the United States, there's no reason to be scared. However, if they are a criminal alien or an illegal alien, then they should probably be very scared.
All of you well-heeled shoppers out there.
The parent company of Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, and Bergdorf Goodman says its stores will remain open as its bankruptcy plays out. A group of bondholders has agreed to provide $1.75 billion in financing to prop up the company. Saks acquired Neiman Marcus in a $2.7 billion merger just last year, but sales of luxury goods have been declining, and the company missed a $100 million debt payment last month. If Saks manages to emerge from bankruptcy, it will likely be smaller with fewer stores. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Shoppers up their spending at the end of the year. Commerce Department reports retail sales increased a better than expected 0.6% in November, getting some of the credit, sales at clothing and accessories stores. The new report was delayed for more than a month because of the government shutdown. Dow futures down 172. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
6:03, we check in with Chris Sullivan at the traffic desk.
And we're already off to a couple of crashes on this early Wednesday morning. One of them is on northbound 405, right as you get up to Coal Creek Parkway. It's been in the HOV lane for about the last 10 or 15 minutes. It looks like they might have just moved it out of the way. Plan on about 20 minutes already from Renton to Bellevue, which isn't too bad. Puyallup to Renton, about 40, which is about average for this time. You might have a little struggle getting to the 167 corridor because of our second crash of the morning that appears to be near Meridian on eastbound 512 as you work your way past the fairgrounds in Puyallup. Rest of the map looks okay, even through our construction slowdown there through the loss of the express lanes on southbound I-5. We are definitely starting to see a backup, a little bit heavier maybe than we saw yesterday, but not by much. It's 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle, about 35 from Everett to Bellevue, but that definitely the window to get onto I-5 is starting to close. Federal Way to Seattle is running under 40 minutes, which is great. The lake bridges are quiet, and nothing from Olympia to Tacoma. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
6:04 on a Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us. Former Seattle City Council member Shama Sawant is once again stirring controversy at City Hall, this time over immigration enforcement.
During yesterday's council meeting, Sawant and her supporters seized the chamber, forcing leaders to suspend the session. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here live with more.
Yeah, call it a campaign stunt or a demonstration or a protest. Here's what it sounded like at yesterday afternoon's City Council meeting.
Ice out now! Ice out now! Ice out now! Ice out now!
Even when the public comment timer dinged there, they were still chanting. There were dozens of Sawant supporters wearing Sawant for Congress t-shirts during the public comment portion of that meeting, demanding the city council take more action to stop ICE agents and President Trump's immigration policies. Sawant also spoke. She is running for Congress against Representative Adam Smith.
Trump's ICE agents are terrorizing our cities. Thousands of immigrant, working, and poor people are being grabbed off the street.
And here, finally, is where it got to be too much. Here was Council President Joy Hollingsworth trying to get Sawant's team to allow the meeting to continue, but security finally showed up, and Hollingsworth had to shut it all down.
Will you let us continue our business? And I'll tell you our plan after the meeting. Will you let us continue our business? Okay. So right now, Mr. Dean, right now we're going to go into recess. We're going to go into a 10-minute recess to cool it out, and I'll judge and see if we can come back here. If not, we'll finish the council business in my office. Thank you so much. Recess.
Well, they came back and they did finish their business. This kind of tactic, though, Charlie and Manda, not new to Sawant, of course. Back in August, 3 people from her campaign were arrested after Sawant's supporters took over the stage at an Adam Smith town hall. That happened down in Renton.
Okay, Luke, thank you for the update. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson held his State of the State address yesterday and reports the state of the state remains strong.
That in spite of a $2 billion budget gap. The governor proposes a state income tax for those making more than $1 million a year. And he points out currently the bottom 20% pay 13.8% in taxes, while the top 1% pay just 4.1%.
That's not fair. That's not right. And that's why I'm calling for something truly historic, a millionaire's tax.
Republicans warned if history is any indication, a millionaire's tax will eventually apply to all taxpayers.
President Trump says in a couple weeks he'll block federal funding to sanctuary states and cities.
Starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens.
If it happens, this could hit Washington hard. The state received approximately $28 billion in federal transfers last year. The state is staring at that $2.3 billion budget gap, even with federal money currently coming in. Seattle alone gets tens of millions annually for housing, homeless programs, and energy projects. City leaders say they won't back down from sanctuary policies, even with funding at risk. Governor Ferguson told Como TV Washington will fight any cuts in court. Last year, Washington gave the federal government roughly $57 billion more in taxes than it received in return.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
I needed that calming.
Feeling good? Hey, we're halfway through the week. It's Wednesday, January 14th.
Manda Factor there. I'm Charlie Harger. Sully is looking at the maps with a great level of concern. Day 3 of this, huh?
Yep, and it looks like we might have a crash on southbound I-5 as well, approaching Northgate.
That's not
which
good.
is fabulous.
Yeah. All right. Well, keep us updated every 10 minutes on the 3s. Producer David Burbank is in the studio with us, and that's Nick Krasha picking the music. And Jillian is out in the newsroom, Jillian Raftery, and she is our editor today.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
Coming up this hour of the show, we will hear from a UW doctoral student about some research into the impact of screens in cars and how they could be making us unsafe on the roads.
It's 6:09. Seattle has postponed plans to clear a homeless encampment in Ballard. Como TV reports the city notified them late yesterday that the sweep scheduled for yesterday now on hold indefinitely. The site near Northwest 41st Street and the Burke-Gilman Trail is home to about 17 people. Advocates say the encampment is not blocking access and argue repeated removals only displace people without solving homelessness. Andrea Suarez with We Heart Seattle says the mayor, Katie Wilson, is sending the wrong message. She recorded a video outside that encampment.
This, from my perspective, will be a tragedy if these camps continue to stay. They are open-air drug scenes. I can hear the foil now. I can hear the clicking of torches. There's squalid living conditions. There's rodents. It's right here on the bike trail.
No word yet on when or if the city will try again.
A former Bothell City Council member pleads guilty to first-degree manslaughter. Here's KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery.
Court documents detail a turbulent, on-again, off-again relationship between 58-year-old James McNeil and 20-year-old Lilia Gajvoronsky. In April of 2024, McNeil's attorney called 911. She said her client had authorized her to call police to notify them of a death. When investigators got to Gajvoronsky's apartment, they found her naked in bed. She was dead and had been for at least 24 hours. Investigators determined she'd been strangled. McNeil was found with self-inflicted wounds. Prosecutors have asked for more than 10 years in prison when he's sentenced. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Authorities say Tacoma City Hall was forced into lockdown when a former Human Services Commissioner made violent threats.
Tacoma City Hall went into lockdown on January 6th after police say a woman sent dozens of violent threats to city employees and healthcare workers, many of them mentioning an AK-47. Prosecutors have charged 63-year-old Kimberly Ann Ellison with felony harassment and obstruction. KIRO 7 TV reports that according to a city employee, Ellison had openly discussed past struggles with addiction and mental illness. In Tacoma, Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
We're learning just how many homes and businesses in King County reported significant damage from the series of atmospheric rivers last month and all that flooding. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin spoke with emergency managers.
KCEM says 396 people reported damage to their homes and 62 businesses reported damage as well.
The first stage is really collecting that information, finding out what's been damaged, how much it's been damaged, if it's minor, moderate, major, or catastrophic, destroyed. And then getting people access to the resources.
He tells us there are still funds available for people who need help.
Now, Snohomish County is giving flood victims more time to clean up. You can keep dumping damaged household items for free at county solid waste sites. That voucher program was set to end Sunday, but now it's going to run through March 19th. It only applies to homes hit by December's flooding, not businesses.
WashDOT will be taking soil samples along State Route 203 today and tomorrow for a future project. That means drivers should plan on delays with alternating traffic through sections between Duval and Monroe from 8 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon both days. If the work isn't finished tomorrow, crews will finish it up Friday between 8 and 11 a.m.
And sections of Sound Transit's one line will be closed and replaced with buses throughout January for system expansions and maintenance work. First closures started last night. They run through tomorrow night. Buses replace trains during late night hours between the stadium and Mount Baker stations for regular monthly maintenance. On Friday night, buses will replace trains between Capitol Hill and Soto. Crews are installing advanced signaling systems in the downtown transit tunnel.
It's 6:12. Let's get a check on weather. Nick Allard from KIRO 7 TV is here. And Nick, we hit a couple records yesterday.
So we got down to 52 yesterday morning, but actually if you go from the night before around, 9-10 p.m., we got to 51. All of that stays above yesterday's warmest overnight low of 50. So we set a record there. And then our high temperature record was 58 yesterday, and we tied it. So it was an interesting kind of day yesterday. We had warm weather pretty much everywhere. Now, today, it is still warm, but not as warm. We're in the upper 40s now, and you have widespread clouds. You might see a little bit of drizzle and mist and some patchy fog. There's not much fog out there. It's kind of like Olympia, Chehalis, Bremerton, but a lot of places have been seeing some drizzle. So don't be surprised if you have a few raindrops when you head out, but there's just not going to be anything on the radar, so you won't be able to tell. It's just it's there. It's low-level moisture. It's cloudy. We're only going to go from, say, 47, 48 to about 50, 51. And it doesn't change much. You don't see any sun. You just see clouds all day. So cloudy morning and a cloudy day. But tomorrow, thanks to a little bit of wind, offshore wind, east-northeasterly at least, you'll find a little bit of northerly breeze, and then you'll see sunshine increasing for the afternoon, staying temperature-wise about the same, but turning partly to mostly sunny, and then mostly sunny Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and just, again, some areas of fog in the morning, but you clear out and it looks great, and we're staying dry until at least at this point, Tuesday, Wednesday, probably beyond that, but at least, for the next week or so, I don't have any rain to add to it, so we just get sunshine for a while.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Right now in Seattle, we have clouds. It's 47.
And it's time for a check on traffic. We do that every 10 minutes. Take it away, Sully.
And we are starting the day with kind of an unfortunate situation. We got a little crash on southbound I-5. Our friend Glow from Edmonds confirming, and I found it on my cams, the left lane is blocked approaching the Northgate area. So that's adding to the misery to already having lost the express lane. So we're running over 40 minutes now from Everett into Seattle, probably more than 45. Give yourself that extra time there. We're also seeing a crash on southbound 405 blocking the right lane at 85th and Kirkland. So we're up to about 35 minutes from Everett into Bellevue. Federal Way to Seattle, only 35 minutes, so that's not too bad there. The lake bridges are still very quiet. Northbound 167 sees a little bit of braking here and there, a little over 40 minutes to make the trip. 20 minutes from Renton to Bellevue, and looks like we might have cleared the crash on eastbound 512 near Meridian because I'm starting to see things get better down the South Hill. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Seattle's morning news. Always live, always connected. Stream, watch, subscribe, and share at mynorthwest.com.
Well, Hock Tun Kwong is a PhD student at the University of Washington Information School, and he's been digging into a question a lot of us have, those of us who have those touchscreen dashboards. Just how distracted are we, really?
Well, his team partnered with Toyota Research Institute to put people in a driving simulator and measured everything from eye movement to pupil dilation. And he is with us here on Seattle's Morning News. Thanks for being here.
Yep, thank you for having me today. So I'm really happy to share my results.
So, let's talk about those results because you found a lot of interesting things in this research. What's the big takeaway here?
Yeah, I think I can start with the motivation of my study. So touchscreen have become a control center of cars, but touch interaction often requires eyes on screen time. And at the same time, distracted driving is a still public safety issue. For example, U.S. government traffic safety materials report 3,000 deaths in 2023 involving distracted driving, and an estimated 300,000 injuries. So our work helps explain how distraction happens and put numbers on the performance trade-off between driving and screen interaction.
Tell us about the actual research. I mentioned that you put people in driving simulators. How did you actually do the study?
Yeah, sure. So the goal was to quantify distraction with real numbers, not just opinion. So we measured how driving changes touchscreen performance and how touchscreen use changes driving stability and how different levels of mental business, which we call cognitive load, change the way drivers look and move. So in a driving simulator, people drove while tapping the targets on the touchscreen. And we also added a memory task to simulate my brain is already full moments. And we then measured driving stability, touchscreen performance, and where people looked.
And so I was going to ask, what is happening here is you found that people start reaching even before looking, and that causes all sorts of issues. Can you describe that?
Yeah, sure. So that is about the hand before eye phenomenon. So it means people started moving their hands toward the touchscreen before their eyes fully moved to the screen. So think of it as my hand is guessing where to go while my eyes are still on the road. So we saw this in 62% of trials, even without any kind of secondary task. And it was around 71% in higher cognitive load condition.
I think it seems common sense that you would be distracted by a giant screen in your car, but is there anything about your research that surprised you?
Yeah, so I think I can categorize my main research finding into two different things. So when people were driving, touchscreen tapping efficiency, which we call throughput, dropped it by 58% compared to not driving situation. And when touchscreen interaction was added, driving became less stable. So lateral deviation from the lane center increases from 0.3 meter without touchscreen to 0.4 meter with touchscreen. So we can say both tasks got worse when you force them to happen at the same time.
Do you think dash screens are a good idea based on this research? Would we be safer without them?
So I would say, I don't want to say touchscreens are evil because the benefit from the touchscreen is very clear. We can show more information with greater flexibility. But this research is saying that just using touchscreen can be very risky and high quality load situations. So with better design ideas and with our quantified results, we can design more safer touchscreens, like adding some haptic feedbacks, or we can make some adjustable touchscreen that can adapt into drivers' real-time states. So yeah, those kind of ideas are possible. And actually that is connected with our next study. So please stay tuned for our group's study.
All right, hands on the wheel, people. That is Hock-Toon Huang with the UW Information School. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to talking at your next study.
Thank you so much.
All right, Sully. So I know you are a massive critic of dash screens. I figured I'd get your take after you heard that research information.
Not surprising at all,
right?
I mean, your eye movement. I think as we're getting better with some of the technology, like he is using in these studies, to really kind of quantify. It's not like we're moving our heads. It's even just the quick dashes of your eyes and taking your eyes off the job at hand, which is driving, is incredibly dangerous. And, in some of these cars, they're getting bigger and bigger. I mean, they're bigger than laptop screens in some cars. And, of course, our good friends, the i5 commuters, how many times have we seen them capturing, people are watching movies while they're driving. I mean, maybe there's a way that the technology can limit what you can view or do with a touchscreen, say, once it notices your car is above 5-10 miles an hour, right? You can restrict that. So if you needed to adjust navigation, say at a signal, or if you're in bumper to bumper traffic, you might be able to do something there, but you won't be able to do it at speed. Yeah. I have an older, it's a 2016 Toyota. The touchscreen there is very small, does very limited things.
Yeah.
It doesn't even do the air control. Okay. And I find it incredibly distracting, like when I'm, not that I changed the station from KIRO radio, but say I want to listen to the Seahawks game while I'm driving. I'll flip on, 710 or maybe I want to listen to one of the sports hosts or something there at our sister station. I find myself, and he's right, the hand goes. The hand goes first, and then the head goes.
And that's when your mental focus goes, because
Correct.
You're losing focus. I wonder if, maybe even knobs instead of the touchscreen itself, because, you can reach over and turn up the heat or turn down the heat or what have you with a knob. A lot of modern cars, though, you have to do it all through a touchscreen.
Yeah, and some cars we do have an SUV that does have more controls on the steering wheel, which helps control the touch screen. Like if I want to turn up the air or change the volume or things like you can do more things there. But again, anything that takes your eyes out, again, it's tactile, right? You kind of, once you understand what your cockpit is like, I guess, for lack of a better term, your hands and things, as long as your eyes don't deviate, we've got to have the technology to make it a little bit better. And but those screens as they are right now are just so. I get distracted driving down the road when I look over and I see somebody's screen's the size of our computer. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing over there? And then I'm not looking at the road either. So something's got to be done.
He's working on it.
Yep. My wife has a fancy car, by the way, which kind of displays on the windshield, like, speed, or you can adjust the whatever.
Like a heads-up display.
Yeah, you're looking at the road.
A Pilot has a heads-up display.
Yeah.
That's, fancy.
She is very fancy. All right. You know what isn't so fancy?
Me.
Well, that's true. And you are watching traffic for us this morning.
Yeah, and we've already got some issues. I'm going to start with southbound I-5. We already know we're going to have a big day because of the loss of the express lanes. But we're also dealing with a crash right before you get to Northgate that's in the left-hand lane. And we're starting to see a pretty sizable backup out of Shoreline. It's already about 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle, with 35 of those minutes from Linwood. So we're kind of off to the races there. The 405 corridor is seen slowing into Kirkland because of a crash in the right lane right around 85th. So also with some early adopters on 405, we've got about a 40-minute trip from Everett to Bellevue with 25 of those minutes out of Linwood. So already tough out of the north end. The 405 corridor northbound, seeing some brake lights through the S-curves, but 22 minutes to get you up to Bellevue's not too bad. Behind that, the Valley Freeway looks pretty good at about 40 minutes, maybe 44 from end to end. There is some slowing on westbound 410. Approaching 167, we might have had a little crash there as you got up past Sumner. Northbound I-5, Olympia to Tacoma, nothing for you guys, and Federal Way to Seattle's nice and easy at 40 minutes. The lake bridges are quiet. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast, quite a bit cooler today. 51, the expected high, with mostly cloudy skies, maybe just some light drizzle in spots and some fog this morning. Otherwise, just mostly cloudy. We did tie the record yesterday, 58 degrees. For tomorrow, look for fog early on, then some sunshine and 50. Same deal on Friday, and Saturday and Sunday both look sunny. Right now, cloudy and 50 in Seattle.
Coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey with a preview of Saturday night's big Seahawks matchup against the 49ers.
And your opening bell report coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
Seattle's Morning News, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Congressman Adam Smith, the ranking member on the House Armed Services Committee, situation in Minneapolis.
I think this is just the obvious and terrible outcome of the way Trump has approached law enforcement. There seems to be no accountability, and the message going out is do what you got to do. There are no rules. There will be no accountability.
Watch the full interview and subscribe to KIRO News Radio on YouTube.
Paid political announcement.
More than half of short-term rentals across Washington are booked by Washingtonians. Families traveling for their children's tournaments and games. Firefighters fighting wildfires. Traveling nurses providing critical care. Every day, short-term rentals are helping make travel more affordable. Legislators in Olympia are considering increasing taxes on short-term rentals. But with the cost of everything going up, we can't take another price increase. Keep travel affordable for us. Paid for by Airbnb helps our state thrive host pack.
Did you know 25% of your home's heat loss is through your attic? Jake Skorheim here. When hot air rises, if your attic isn't properly insulated, that hot air is going to go right through your ceiling and out your old roof. That sounds cold and expensive. So if your furnace is working overtime, it's time to call Valentine. And right now, Valentine has a great winter special. Bundle attic insulation with any new roof, and you'll save an additional 10% off your entire project. Just call 206 Roofing, and remember, when you see the red Valentine vans, you know your home is in good hands.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on. Like a close friend who will give it to you straight. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. Now through February 1st, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Do you notice sounds coming from your crawl space or attic, or possibly stale or foul odors in your home? This could be that rodents have gotten into your attic and crawl and have made it their home. They tear up the insulation to make nests to have babies. They contaminate it with their biological waste, which can be harmful to your health. And they ruin your home's energy blanket, costing you thousands of dollars a year. If you even think you may have a problem, call Insulation Northwest today, and we will come to your home as soon as tomorrow and perform a free, no-obligation inspection to determine what the problem is. This inspection normally costs $199, but it's yours free just for calling today. If we discover any problem with rodents in your home, we can get them out and keep them out and restore your home's protective insulation blanket back to brand new condition. Let Insulation Northwest give peace and comfort back to you and your family and save you thousands of dollars in energy savings. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I was able to achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look in the mirror. You need to know what that feels like. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I would trust more than Advanced Hair Restoration. I experienced their exceptional standard of care firsthand. Your comfort and your results are the top priority of the entire Advanced Hair team. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185. Discover what meeting your resolutions could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
It's the Clearance Savings Spectacular at Olympic Hot Tub. We're slashing prices on hot tubs, saunas, and swim spas. Even bigger savings on floor models. Plus, no interest through 2031. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 6:30. The Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson's campaign has been fined for failing to properly report more than $10,000 in campaign-related childcare expenses paid by her parents.
It's an issue that drew praise from supporters and criticism from opponents during Wilson's race against Mayor Harrell.
And KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here live to break it down.
Yeah, Wilson campaigned pretty hard on affordable child care, and when it leaked that her parents were sending her money to pay for her own child care, well, Wilson posted about it on X. So what you're going to hear is that post, and this is Wilson's mom sitting on a sofa next to Katie Wilson talking about it.
So is this about Josie, my granddaughter's child care? I mean, doesn't he know that child care is really expensive in Seattle, and aren't families supposed to take care of each other?
In a letter, the Seattle's Ethics and Elections Commission said the money in question sent by Wilson's mother exceeded the city's contribution limits. It was more than $10,000, and that Wilson's campaign failed to report the more than $10,000 in expenditures made by that campaign. In Seattle, political candidates can use campaign funds for personal expenses. That's not a problem, but they must report it on their campaign finance report. So that policy is designed, of course, to ensure transparency and accountability in the campaign process. The cities fined Wilson some $250 because this is what they call a novel event that never faced anything like this from a political candidate for mayor. They also said Wilson cooperated with staff and refunded her mother the amount by which her contributions exceeded the city's contribution limit. Back to the video, Wilson used this issue, of course, as a campaign plus. A lot of supporters agreed with her about the child care issue and championed her efforts in this video. Others, though, used it as fodder against her. Here's what she said in the video.
I really appreciate you chipping in for child care during a stressful campaign. And I also know that a lot of families aren't that lucky. That's why I'm going to fight for affordable childcare and affordable housing so that working families can live in this city.
So what we don't know is why the money was part of Wilson's campaign fund. If someone gifts someone money directly, Charlie and Amanda, you could have to, depending on how much of money that is, pay a gift tax, depending on how much, of course. If you give to a campaign, you can't necessarily earmark that money for something specific, but it must not, again, exceed limits, which in this case apparently it did, and it has to be reported, which in this case it appears it was not at first.
Okay, Luke Ducey. A major shot across the bow from the president could mean billions in canceled federal funding for Washington state.
Stepping up his immigration crackdown, President Trump says Washington will cease federal payments to sanctuary cities and states come the 1st of next month. Reaction from New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani.
Our values and our laws cannot be bargaining chips. I will always defend this city and every single person who calls this city home, even in the face of threats from the federal administration to withhold funds.
It's a move that will likely end up in court. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
And good news for the Seahawks ahead of Saturday's playoff game. 3 key players were full participants in practice yesterday. Left tackle Charles Cross, safety Kobe Bryant, and tight end Elijah Arroyo all returned. Cross missed the last 3 games of the regular season with a hamstring injury. Seattle, of course, faces the 49ers Saturday night in the NFC divisional round.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. Sully is watching traffic for us every 10 minutes. What's going on?
Well, we've got about a 6 or 7 mile backup now going southbound on I-5 from about Mount Lake Terrace all the way down to Northgate. And it's not just the loss of the express lanes that we have to deal with today. We actually have a crash in the left lane on southbound I-5 approaching Northgate. So we're up over an hour and 5 minutes from Everett to Seattle. 45 of the minutes of that alone from Linwood. So about a 15-minute delay over what you might expect. Still working with this crash on southbound 405 at 85th and Kirkland on the right lane. And that's added a little bit of extra braking as well. So we're up to 55 minutes from Everett to Bellevue. 35 of that is from Linwood. So not exactly a great day. We're also dealing with what looks like another crash on westbound 526, the Boeing Freeway, just away from I-5 up in the Everett area. So keep an eye on that one. Looking at the rest of the drive, about what you would expect. We have brake lights in the S-curves on northbound 405, Renton to Bellevue, about 26 minutes. Also a little slowing at past 180th, a little bit in Auburn. 45 minutes from Puyallup up to Renton. Federal Way to Seattle's running right around 46, 47 minutes, which isn't too bad. This report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Save $600 off windows, $1,500 off doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors, plus enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. Don't wait. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com today.
Some fog in spots this morning. Otherwise, a mostly cloudy day, a high of 51. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll start to see some sunshine for a few days. It's 50 in Seattle right now.
Time for the opening bell report. Inflation is up nationwide and is even higher in the Seattle area.
Nationally, the Consumer Price Index rose 2.7% over the past year, but in the Seattle area, it increased 3.1%. Food here went up 4.4% overall. That includes a 1.5% hike in your grocery bill and 7.6% increase eating out. Energy prices, including gas, advanced 7.2%. You're paying over 5% more for medical care and 1.7% extra for shelter. Heather Bosch, KIRO Newsradio.
President Trump spent some time in Michigan touting his economic successes. We get more from CBS News correspondent Jared Hill.
President Trump visiting Michigan to celebrate his administration's efforts on the economy.
Investment is booming, incomes are rising, inflation is defeated.
He said that hours after the latest consumer price index showed that inflation in December was the same as it was in November, 2.7% compared to last year. But grocery prices jumped more than 3%.
I'm a lot more cautious at the grocery store. We buy less of things.
State officials working to hire staff, organize advisory committees, and post funding opportunities in an effort to spend billions of dollars they will get from the Rural Health Transformation Program. The Trump administration's new $50 billion fund gives every governor in the U.S. at least $100 million and use it to reinvent rural health care. Sarah Jane Tribble with KFF Health says it may not make up for a reduction in Medicaid, though.
When the Big Beautiful Bill was passed, it cut Medicaid spending across the country over the next decade. That hits rural America particularly hard. At the tune of about $137 billion is expected to be lost in Medicaid spending because people are losing their coverage and so forth. So if you look at over a decade, $137 billion being lost, and then you've got this other pot of money of $50 billion for rural America transformation and healthcare. A lot of experts are saying that it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make up for the losses that are coming down the road for Medicaid and spending in rural America.
Well, big changes are coming to a popular Gig Harbor landmark. You ever been to the Tides Tavern on the water? Well, the owner of the Tides says the restaurant will soon be sold to Anthony's Restaurants. Dylan Stanley announced the news yesterday, calling it a tough decision. According to the News Tribune, his family has run the Tides for 53 years, starting with his dad in 1973. Stanley says Anthony's will keep the name, the chef, and management team in place. If all goes well, they say the sale will wrap up in about 4 weeks.
The Varsity Theater saying goodbye this week. After more than 80 years in Seattle's University District, the curtain is coming down. Jeff Brain runs Faraway Entertainment, the company behind the Varsity. He says Thursday, tomorrow, will be his last day. According to the Seattle Times, he says declining revenues, rising costs, and fewer studio releases make it impossible to keep going. And after tomorrow, there will be no more movie theaters in the U District.
Near a college campus. That's wild, isn't it?
It really tells you something about the popularity of streaming.
Yeah. All right, trading's underway on Wall Street for the day. The Dow is down about 61 points at 49,130. S&P 500 is down 30, and the Nasdaq down about 177 points.
Now, word for KIRO 7 News, live starting at 4. It's news that puts you there so you can see for yourself. News that's happening now so you're ready. News that investigates to get you answers. News that's local, because where you live matters. No more, no now on KIRO 7 News at 4, 5, and 6 p.m.
It's now 6:39. How we doing, Sullivan?
Not great, we have cleared the crash getting into Northgate, but now we have the regular drive to worry about, so I'll break it down for you next.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital, Common Sense Lending.
The G and Ursula Show.
There's a brand new Gallup poll out that shows independents are actually now the biggest group in the country.
Weekdays 9 to noon.
Does this surprise you?
No, it's like a card trick. People in card tricks, the reason why you get fooled is because you pay attention to what they say, and you don't pay attention to what they do. Most people only start paying attention when elections, policies, and things start affecting you.
Subscribe to the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel and watch live.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the roads you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included in every tire we sell. It's more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's all about you getting more from less. Stop by or book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Every season is a little bit different here in Washington, but I'll tell you what, the amount of rain never seems to change in the winter, and we have sure gotten a ton of it this season. All that rain, all that water, it's all got to go somewhere. And if it makes its way into your crawl space, that's when it can create all sorts of problems, including real structural damage, which could really affect your home. But more importantly, for the health of your family, the water in that crawl space could create toxic mold, and that has serious health repercussions. Thankfully, we have Crawl Pros. They can come in and keep your crawl space dry, install a sump pump and drainage, and reroute that water back out and away from your home. They'll also take care of any mold that may have been created. Don't take the risk. It's too important. The best way to learn if you have any water is to ask Crawl Pros to visit your home and inspect your crawl space for free. Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to. So if you're worried about water damage, mold, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
At 6:43, we have traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
And it is an ugly day out of Snohomish County. I sound like a broken record. I'm going to sound like this for 5 months. But some positive news for those of you stuck between basically the Edmonds exit and Northgate is the crash we had before Northgate is now no longer in the the left lane. It's over on the right-hand side. Problem is now we have to just deal with the backup and the loss of the express lanes. And we have, let's see here, a 50-minute trip from Linwood and about an hour and 10 all the way from Everett to Seattle. So we're behind schedule by about 15 to 18 minutes now, and that's only going to grow. 405 is not much better. We not only have a crash blocking the right lane at 85th and Kirkland, we've now added a crash right at Totem Lake on southbound 405, at Canyon Park, right there at 527, which is blocking the left lane. So we're up to about 45 minutes out of Linwood and an hour out of Everett. So pretty soon that drive is going to be just as bad. Also working with a crash on westbound 512 right there. Gosh, my numbers are way off. 526, not 512. 526. I've got, it's insane in a membrane. And I am.
You have a lot to keep track of.
So westbound 526, the Boeing Freeway there in Everett, looks like we have a crash right away from I-5. That is backing up both directions of I-5 itself onto the ramp. So that's not going to be pleasant. Rest of the map, okay. Federal Way to Seattle, about 45 to 50 minutes. Valley Freeway, about 45. Renton to Bellevue is right where it should be, close to a half an hour. So, the north end is not great, but the rest of the map isn't too bad. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Bill in Lake Stevens says, Sully, Revive I-5 should be called Survive I-5.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good one.
Right? All right, our forecast, that's not bad. We'll see some fog in spots this morning. Otherwise, a mostly cloudy day and 51. We did tie the record of 58 yesterday. For tomorrow, look for some fog early on. Sunshine for the afternoon, though, and a high of 50. Friday looks pretty much the same, and the weekend looks terrific. Mostly sunny skies Saturday and Sunday with highs right around 50. It is 50 and cloudy in Seattle right now.
Coming up, an update on the latest from President Trump over the potential of U.S. involvement in Greenland. That's on the way here on Seattle's Morning News.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
It's cold outside, and if you're noticing it's taking forever to heat your home, there are cold spots in certain rooms, your furnace turns off and on a lot, or it never stops, or maybe your energy bill is just way too high. These are all warning signs that your home needs a blanket. There may be something wrong with your insulation, which means not only are you uncomfortable in your own home, but you could be wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in lost energy. Call Insulation Northwest today, and we'll send one of our professionals to give you a fast, free energy inspection to determine if there is a problem. And if there is a problem, we can fix it fast. Most jobs are completed in 1 day. You have nothing to lose. The inspection is free and only takes about an hour and could save you thousands. Keep the heat in, the cold out, and your energy bill low. Call Insulation Northwest today. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company.
Please ask if you qualify for thousands of dollars of free rebates from your energy company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Adrian here from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Winter might seem like an odd time to replace your windows, but now is when you get the best deals. Our Leak Armor installation team will keep your home warm and dry while installing beautiful, new energy-efficient windows. You'll feel the difference right away. Quieter rooms, lower energy bills, and a more comfortable home.
Right now, save $600 on windows and $1,500 on doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
6:48 now. Thanks for joining us. Today, top White House officials are set to host representatives from Denmark and Greenland. This comes as President Trump intensifies his push to acquire the island, Greenland. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has more.
As the Trump administration looks to acquire Greenland, the country's prime minister says they'd prefer to stay with Denmark over the U.S. President Trump to reporters.
That's going to be a big problem for him.
Officials from Greenland and Denmark are expected to meet with Vice President J.D. Vance and other top U.S. officials today at the White House.
Meanwhile, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said today Greenland can, quote, count on us.
Greenland belongs to its people. So it's up to Denmark and Greenland, and only to them, to decide on matters that are concerning Denmark and Greenland. Greenland is part of NATO, and we know that the glue between the allies is the fact that there's always the clear motto, one for all for one.
President Trump was in Michigan yesterday talking about the economy at a Ford plant in Dearborn. While on a tour of the facility, the president responded to a heckler in the crowd. CBS News chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes has more.
The president actually gave the man the finger and used some language that we can't repeat here. You can see it very clearly in a video, though, that was posted by TMC. The interaction, however, was not visible to those of us who were there in the plant covering the president's tour yesterday. The White House is not denying that Trump made the gesture. You see it there. Swore at the worker. A spokesman says it was justified, called the worker a, quote, lunatic, and said that the person was, quote, wildly screaming expletives in a complete fit of rage, and the president gave an appropriate and unambiguous response. I should point out the cell phone video doesn't actually show the worker screaming expletives at the president. What it does show is that the worker called Trump, quote, a pedophile protector, which is a reference apparently to Trump's former friend, the late Jeffrey Epstein.
New information is coming out on the number of people who may have been killed in the anti-government protests in Iran. Two sources, one inside Iran, tells CBS News the number could be as high as 12,000. CBS News foreign correspondent Holly Williams is in northern Iraq near the Iranian border. She spoke with Kaiwan Durrati, an investigator for an Iranian human rights monitoring group.
Since the authorities cut off the internet last Thursday, it's been harder to get any information out of Iran. Durrati told us that restoring internet access is much more important than any U.S. military strikes, which he fears may achieve little. We prefer that the people topple the regime, he told us. Without their participation, military strikes will not be effective.
At least 6 career prosecutors at the U.S. Attorney's Office have now resigned over the investigation in Minneapolis into a federal agent's use of deadly force against Renee Good. This comes as federal agents continue to use aggressive tactics on protesters. There are now roughly 2,800 federal agents in the Twin Cities, more than double the number of local police. CBS News correspondent Lana Zak has more on the rising tensions in Minneapolis.
Patty O'Keefe says she and a friend were following ICE agents on Sunday. When they were stopped, their car pepper sprayed and their windows smashed before being taken to a federal detention center.
3 ICE agents that were in the car with me immediately started taunting me. The driver of the car said, you guys got to stop obstructing us. That's why that lesbian is dead.
O'Keefe says she was held for 8 hours before being released without charges.
What do you say to people who feel like these agents are doing what they need to do, they're following the law, and you and other protesters are on the wrong side of history? The law is not always the best barometer of what is moral and just.
A Seattle law firm is taking Starbucks to court.
Higgins Berman has filed a class action suit which alleges Starbucks ignored systemic human rights and labor violations at certified farms, including unsafe housing and contaminated water. It also accuses the company of using harmful chemicals in its decaf coffee. The suit claims Starbucks misled customers with promises of 100% ethical coffee sourcing. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
And Starbucks says it takes the allegations seriously, but believes they are inaccurate and that they, quote, misrepresent both our sourcing practices and the integrity of our coffee and farmer equity practices program.
The CEO of Seattle-based Redfin is stepping down after 20 years at the helm. Glenn Kelman says leaving the real estate firm was his decision. His announcement comes nearly 7 months after Rocket Companies bought Redfin. Seattle Times reports the head of Rocket will serve as interim CEO.
It's now 6:53, and that's time for traffic. We do that every 10 minutes on the threes for you, and Chris Sullivan is helping you get where you need to go.
Yeah, and it is not a very good drive out there. We are dealing with very heavy brake lights, especially out of the north end. We have 30-minute delays for both I-5 and 405 as we make our way away from Linwood. Not only do we have the slowing to deal with on I-5 itself, which is now about a 6-7 mile backup. We have starting there basically at the Edmonds exit all the way down to where the express lane are closed. So we, as I said, hour and 20 from Everett, hour from Linwood. Now, the issues on 405, we have a few more brake lights there because people are diverting really early to 405. And now we have 2 crashes to deal with. One of them, southbound 405 at Canyon Park in the right-hand lane, and southbound 405 at Kirkland at 85th in the right lane. And so that has also created an hour and 20-minute trip out of Bellevue. And, of course, really early.
It's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
Now, this is a really has to kind of situation there. So plan on big-time delays as you make your way out of both 5 and 405 away from Linwood. Rest of the map, not terrible. We have brake lights through the Renton S-curves, but nothing you can't handle. We've got about a 30-minute trip to make it up to Bellevue. Behind that, the Valley Freeway is very heavy out of Auburn. 45 to 50 minutes now, probably closer to 50 to go from Puyallup to Renton. Federal Way to Seattle running about 15 minutes faster than normal at about 48 minutes because there is no forced merge getting into downtown with the express lanes open in the northbound direction, and still no backup yet going northbound over the Ship Canal Bridge where we actually have the 2 lanes closed. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Forecast calls for morning fog and afternoon just kind of cloudy, a high of 51. Then in the next several days, highs will be around 50 and partly to mostly sunny in the afternoon. Right now in Seattle, it's 47.
And coming up, Fed Chief Jerome Powell subpoenaed former State Attorney General Rob McCann. Will break it down for us coming up at 7:15.
You are listening to Seattle's Morning News right here on KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio.
Get on the YouTube channel.
We're live all day on YouTube. Every show, every day.
Hang out with us. The whole gang's there.
And you never know what you might see.
Back up the camera. Oh, my God.
Just search KIRO News Radio, then subscribe. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Paid political announcement.
More than half of short-term rentals across Washington are booked by Washingtonians. Families traveling for their children's tournaments and games. Firefighters fighting wildfires. Traveling nurses providing critical care. Every day, short-term rentals are helping make travel more affordable. Legislators in Olympia are considering increasing taxes on short-term rentals. But with the cost of everything going up, we can't take another price increase. Keep travel affordable for us. Paid for by Airbnb helps our state thrive host pack.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on. Like a close friend who will give it to you straight. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. Now through February 1st, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Logan Fury did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he bought a mini treadmill. Is walking on it during video conference calls more distracting than he thought? Yes. And is that because he overestimated his foot-eye coordination? Definitely. But it's Logan's savings, and if he wants to burn calories and any chance at a promotion, we say, good for you, Logan. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
Aren't you the company that gives away free furnaces?
That's us. Buy a qualifying high-efficiency cooling system and the furnace is free.
Wow.
Yeah, and our home comfort advisors are tax credit and rebate specialists, so they'll handle the rebate for you.
Go to CM Heating for better comfort, lower bills, and a free furnace you'll love for years. Get your free estimate for furnace replacement at cmheating.com. And remember, for furnaces, fireplaces, hot water, and total home comfort, including electrical,
there's no beating CM Heating.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A funeral procession in Tehran today for security personnel and civilians killed in anti-government protests as Iran's top judge hints at swift trials and executions. The BBC's Lise Doucette.
Grisly images are emerging. Messages are emerging through the technical creativity and the courage of Iranians. And even the partial picture, which is emerging, is absolutely chilling. Doctors telling us that hospitals are overwhelmed. Those ghastly videos of open-air morgues where people desperately searching.
A U.S. official says some personnel at a key U.S. military base in Qatar have been advised to evacuate after a senior Iranian official brought up an attack there in June. President Trump has posted to Truth Social, anything less than having Greenland in U.S. hands is unacceptable. His remarks ahead of a meeting between officials from Greenland, Denmark, and Vice President Vance this afternoon. Danish political analyst Noah Reddington.
All people in Denmark are really afraid, really concerned, also in Greenland, that the Danish and the Greenlandic government will be presented for an ultimatum. This is a take it or leave it. And also that they will be completely thrown under the bus by J.D. Vance and insulted and humiliated.
Nurses are walking picket lines outside major hospitals in New York City for day number 3. CBS's Christina Fan.
The nearly 15,000 nurses who are striking say they continue to demand better staffing levels, health care benefits, and improvements to workplace safety. Montefiore, meanwhile, says it has rolled out several key programs to keep nurses safe while offering free health insurance and no premiums.
2 of the country's largest measles outbreaks are growing. CBS's Jim Krasula.
The South Carolina Department of Public Health says there have been 124 new measles cases in the Spartanburg area since Friday. The total number of confirmed cases related to the outbreak is approaching 450. A measles outbreak in southwest Utah near the Arizona border has now surpassed 200 confirmed cases.
How's it going, man? Hey.
Matthew McConaughey doesn't want AI to swipe his best lines, his voice, or his likeness without his permission.
All right.
Wall Street Journal says the actor's trademarked himself and his famous words from 1993's Dazed and Confused. McConaughey did invest in an AI company and signed a deal to allow 11 Labs to translate his newsletter in Spanish using an audio version of his voice. This is CBS News.
I'm Major Garrett. Follow and listen to The Takeout on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
7:03 now. Let's check in with Chris Sullivan for traffic on the threes.
Sorry. Here we go again.
Groundhog Day.
Yep, here we go. We have an hour and 20-minute trip already from Everett to Seattle, an hour away from Linwood. 30-minute delay, all because of the loss of the express lanes. We also had an earlier crash near Northgate that kind of complicated matters. But if you can believe it, 405 is actually worse because not only are there people diverting to 405, but we've had two crashes that are still active. One of them blocking the right lane at Canyon Park at 527, and the other one in Kirkland blocking the right lane at 85th. It's actually an hour and 10 minutes from Linwood and an hour and a half from Everett. So 10 minutes even worse on 405. Not a great day. And if you're trying to get over to the Boeing plant or maybe to the Mukilteo Ferry, we've got a crash on westbound 526, blocking, I'm not sure which lane, but it's backing us up on both north and southbound I-5. Rest of the map looks relatively normal. 50 minutes Federal Way to Seattle, 50 Puyallup to Renton, half an hour from Renton to Bellevue. So the north end, again, going to be our trouble spot. This report brought to you by Wilcox Farms. Cage-free eggs good, range-free better. Mobile pasture-egged eggs are the best. Choose the best for your family. Locally fresh Wilcox Family Farms eggs.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good Wednesday morning. It's 7:04. Former Seattle City Council member Shama Sawant is once again stirring controversy at City Hall, this time over immigration enforcement.
During the council meeting yesterday, Sawant and her supporters seized the chamber, forcing leaders to suspend the session.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey joins us live with more.
Charlie, call it a campaign stunt, a demonstration, a protest. Here's what it sounded like at yesterday afternoon's City Council meeting.
Ice out now! Ice out now! Ice out now! Ice out now!
Even when the clock showed that time was up for public comment, there was chanting beyond that limit, and there were dozens of Sawant supporters wearing Sawant for Congress T-shirts during that public comment portion of the meeting, demanding the city council take more action to stop ICE agents and President Trump's immigration policies. Sawant also spoke. She's running for Congress against Representative Adam Smith.
Trump's ICE agents are terrorizing our cities. Thousands of immigrant, working, and poor people are being grabbed off the street.
But here was the moment. Finally, it got to be too much. This was Council President Joy Hollingsworth trying to get Sawant's team to allow the meeting to continue, but security showed up, and Hollingsworth had to shut it all down.
Will you let us continue our business? And I'll tell you our plan after the meeting. Will you let us continue our business? Okay. So right now, Mr. Dean, right now we're going to go into recess. We're going to go into a 10-minute recess to cool it out, and I'll judge and see if we can come back here. If not, we'll finish the council business in my office. Thank you so much. Recess.
This is the kind of tactic that's not new to Sawant. Charlie and Manda, back in August, 3 people were arrested after Sawant supporters took over the stage at an Adam Smith town hall. That happened in Renton.
Okay, to be continued. Thank you, Luke. Governor Ferguson delivered his second State of the State address yesterday afternoon. He said the state remains strong. Here's KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
A key part of the governor's address involved affordable housing. Ferguson proposes spending $244 million on housing, an historic investment.
We will build and protect thousands of affordable housing units, make it easier for first-time home buyers to enter the market, and accelerate the process to build housing.
Senate Republican leader John Braun says Ferguson fails to understand the nature of the problem.
This isn't something we're going to fix with more government involvement, more taxes, and more regulation. We need less taxes, less regulation, and less government involvement.
James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Well, Seattle and Washington could lose big money under President Trump's new threat.
Starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens.
Washington relies on billions in federal aid for health care, schools, and transportation. Seattle gets millions for housing and homeless programs. Washington's budget is short by $2.3 billion, and that's after factoring in federal funds. City leaders reaffirmed their sanctuary stance, saying safety and trust matter most. Governor Ferguson tells KOMO TV he'll challenge any funding cuts. noting courts blocked similar moves before. Washington actually sends more tax money to Washington, D.C. than it gets back, about $57 billion more last year.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Amanda, you were born here, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're...
Actually, Medford, Oregon, but
Okay.
I moved up here when I was a
I
baby.
was just going to say American woman.
Yes. Well, yes.
Yeah.
I was born in America, for heaven's
Okay,
sakes.
American woman.
But you can come hanging around our door. It's okay.
Thanks, Nick.
Well, thanks for being here. This is Seattle's Morning News on Wednesday, January 14th.
Sully is here, checking traffic begrudgingly every 10 minutes.
No,
on the
I love
threes.
it. I wish I had something to help be empathetic with our drivers. It's a tough go.
Yeah, it's ugly.
So yeah, it's today by far the worst because we've had several crashes. So not great.
And Wednesday is always tough, so compounded today. Producer David Burbank is in the studio. Yesterday was baby Gemma's first birthday. How did it go?
It was great. We went to the aquarium. My wife had a bunch of balloons and everything set up for her when Gemma woke up. So it was great.
And
it was a
cake?
really fun
Was
time.
cake involved?
No, because we're having like a real party on Saturday.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're gonna have a cake. She's gonna smash it.
Yeah,
It's
you
gonna
got to
be a
get
whole
that first
fun thing.
first
Oh,
birthday
right.
cake pick.
Well, coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to check in with former State Attorney General Rob McKenna, talking about that case against Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell.
And what's coming up in this 7:35 commentary?
Well, it's one of the first true tests of the Wilson administration in Seattle. It's taken place today, and she did exactly what she said she would. That's coming up at 7:35.
In fact, we have more on that right now. Seattle has hit pause on that planned homeless camp removal in Ballard. Como TV says the city postponed the sweep that was set for today and gave no timeline for rescheduling. The encampment sits near Northwest 41st and the Berg-Gilman Trail and houses about 17 people. Advocates urged Mayor Katie Wilson to cancel the sweep, calling it a test of her approach to homelessness. Advocates are split on the delay. Andrea Suarez from We Heart Seattle argues the city needs to act now, not later.
It's a ticking time bomb for the community, whether it's fires, crime, assaults, theft of all kinds. This is a constellation of bad things to come if these camps are left unresolved.
Wilson criticized past sweeps during her campaign, saying they were cosmetic fixes. Again, much more on this coming up in today's 7:35 commentary.
Criminal reforms could make young violent offenders exempt from Washington's 3 strikes rule. That's a measure passed in the 90s, which requires persistent offenders to be sentenced to life in prison for a third conviction of certain serious felonies like murder or sexual assault. Melanie Roberts tells KIRO 7 TV it's a slap in the face for victim families like hers.
They're valuing and hand-holding the criminals of this state, and to hell with the victims.
Her grandmother, Ruth Dalton, was a dog walker who was murdered on the job in Seattle. If convicted, her accused killer would be a third striker. But his first conviction was as a juvenile, which means the mandatory life sentence would be invalidated if the bill passes.
A terrifying encounter in South Seattle. We get more from KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery.
A 19-year-old was driving down South Cloverdale Street when he tells police his car was shot up by people on the sidewalk. The victim was hit once in the ankle. The car was so seriously damaged by gunfire it had to be hauled away as evidence. This happened at 9:30 Tuesday night. No arrests have been made, and police are asking anyone with information to call the SPD Violent Crimes Tip Line. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Well, if you ride Sound Transit, get ready for intermittent service disruptions this month. Maintenance will force some station closures, mostly at night or on weekends. Riders will be detoured onto buses to get around. Transit crews estimate it could add 30 minutes or more to some trips. You can find a list of all the closure dates at mynorthwest.com.
It's now 7:12 and time for a check on the weather. For that, we bring in KIRO 7 TV's Nick Allards. No rain in the forecast today, right?
No, I mean, if anything, just maybe a little bit of mist or drizzle, and that's all. And that would just be for the morning hours, and then we'd be just cloudy this afternoon and dry. So, yeah, you could just see some drizzle, some mist early on, and that's all I expect to see today. But it isn't really going to clear much. We absolutely will stay cloudy, and temperatures really won't change much from where they are now either. We'll be, say, in the upper 40s this morning and then finishing up at about, say, 50 this afternoon, maybe 51 if we're lucky. Tomorrow, same idea, fog early. And then sunshine. We see a lot more, and we're going to continue that trend through the weekend. Looks wonderful weather for the Hawks game. Looks wonderful weather for the entire weekend. Just a little bit of fog each morning, not much. And next week we stay dry through at least Tuesday or Wednesday. And yeah, sunshine at this point does continue. So it's just, it looks oddly nice.
We'll take it for mid-January. Thank you. Right now it's cloudy and 50 in Seattle.
At 7:13, we check traffic on the 3s with Chris Sullivan.
And we are working with 30 to 40-minute delays coming out of the Linwood area on both 5 and 405. Going to start with 405 first because it's actually in worse shape. We've had 2 crashes along the corridor today down to Bellevue, which has really put us behind. The good news is the southbound 405 crash at Canyon Park at 527 there has moved over to the right shoulder. Still dealing with the right lane being blocked near 85th and Kirkland. So right now we have an hour and 10-minute trip from Linwood to Bellevue, an hour and a half from Everett. That's actually 10 minutes slower than I-5 as we're dealing with the loss of the express lanes today. It's an hour from Linwood to Seattle, an hour and 20 all the way. So not exactly great either. We're also dealing with a pretty significant crash on westbound 526, the Boeing Freeway, just away from I-5. And this is causing a pretty heavy backups on northbound I-5 going into the Everett area. So plan on some extra delay there. Rest of the map, about what you would expect. About a half an hour from Renton to Bellevue up the 405 corridor. We do have some braking on northbound I-5 getting up out of Federal Way, but overall 50 minutes to make the drive to Seattle is 10 minutes faster than normal. Valley Freeway, 50 minutes from end to end. Tacoma looks pretty good. There is some slowing westbound 512 approaching I-5 in Lakewood. That's nothing you can't handle. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Well, good morning. It is 7:15. We've been talking about this all week. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell announced over the weekend there is a criminal investigation into his testimony to the Senate Banking Committee back in the summer.
A lot of legal and economic implications to this. So let's call up former State Attorney General Rob McKenna for his analysis. Rob, let's start with just your initial reaction when you saw that video that Powell released.
Well, it's pretty stunning, isn't it? Because of the public pressure campaign the president's mounted on Chairman Powell, this investigation, looks like just another level of pressure that we've never seen before. And using allegations of congressional testimony and lying during testimony is a really strong measure here. So I wonder whether they're going to be able to come up with enough evidence even to present an indictment to a grand jury. It seems highly unlikely. The Fed has been pretty transparent about this massive renovation they're doing to their 2 buildings on Constitution Avenue in D.C. I've been by there. I've seen them. I mean, it really is. It's like they tore down everything behind the facades of the building to rebuild them. But these are 100-year-old buildings that have never been, massively renovated. And so nothing in those buildings is up to code now, and they've got asbestos and lead and so forth. So, the idea of going after him for, claiming that he didn't have, that he lied and didn't tell the truth about this project strikes me as a stretch, but it does put real pressure on him. And the odd thing is, too, he's finishing his term as chair in May. He'll be on the board of governors if he chooses to stay until 2028. But he's going to be out as chair of the Fed anyway when his term ends, because Trump's clearly not going to reappoint him. And we got one Republican senator who's so furious about this. He's saying, I'm just going to block any nominee to the Fed and any nominee to be chair of the Fed while these subpoenas are out there and this investigation is underway.
It's been thrown around that the economy is at stake with this prosecution. What would it mean for the Federal Reserve to no longer be an independent entity?
I think it would be very bad, to put it in the simplest terms. And that's why people like Senator Tillis of North Carolina, a Republican, a member of the Banking Committee, is so upset here. The independence of the Fed is a big part of what gives people confidence in its decision making about setting the cost of money, right? Interest rates. And, putting it under the thumb of any president. And look, as you guys know, as reporters, there have been a series of presidents who've pressured the Federal Reserve to try to get interest rates down because the economy is important to anyone's election or reelection, and interest rates are a big part of that. But no one's ever gone this far before, and it does risk the Fed's independence, so that in the future you might worry about interest rates being set for political reasons rather than based on sound economics.
Rob, I want to transition over to what the president had to say yesterday and maybe get some of your insight as a former statewide elected official. And that is the president saying he's going to cut off all federal funding to Washington State and to the city of Seattle, basically February 1st, because we remain sanctuary state and city. Can you give me just some insight what the preparations or the talks might be like behind the scenes in Olympia right now?
Well, they would be evaluating where the federal money is coming to, how is it being spent, and how losing that funding, would impact the state budget and local budgets. At the same time, while the president can no doubt stop some funding by executive order, funding that's provided by statute, I think would be a lot harder. So, it isn't clear to me that, for example, he'd be able to stop federal Medicaid funding in our state, which the state matches, because that's provided by statute. That, I'm guessing, would be the single largest item in the budget, though. If somehow the federal government were able to cut off Medicaid funding, that would be a huge impact to the state budget, assuming the state tried to replace that money. But again, that's provided by statute as opposed to discretionary spending for, example, transit and transportation projects.
So with, I think it's $28 billion total that came into the state last year from the federal government. It's still a lot of money when you consider what a big deficit we are facing, for sure. It's huge, Charlie. And you have to ask, why do we have such a big deficit, putting aside the federal funding? And the budget has gone up from like $32 billion to $76 or $78 billion in 12 or 14 years, 50% faster than inflation and population growth. I mean, how the heck are they facing a deficit? And they just raised taxes over $9 billion last session. So that's puzzling. But the federal move here, if it happens, obviously does create a big hole for them.
We have a lot to talk about this week. I also wanted to ask you about what's going on in Minnesota, where some federal prosecutors have resigned because of concerns over the killing of Renee Good. This is 3 prosecutors from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota who have stepped down. How common is this with a high-profile case underway?
Not that common. I mean, career prosecutors wait for high-profile cases. They want to do the right thing. They want to work on the important matters. And what I've read is that they've resigned because they've been told to open a criminal investigation of Ms. Good's partner, who was also at the protest. And they're just, they see that as a pressure tactic, as a retribution. They're not going to do it. And it reminds us there are a lot of really good people in these offices who are not political, who are there because they want to do the right thing to serve the public interest. And if they think their ethics and values and their professional responsibilities will be compromised by an order that they just fundamentally disagree with, they're right to leave. And it's happened in U.S. attorneys' offices around the country over the last year.
You were a Republican attorney general. Could you foresee any circumstance in which your office would have engaged in such a move, that is, looking into the widow of somebody who had been killed in such a shooting?
No. I was just astounded by that news when I heard it. If it'd be a different matter if she had been more than effectively a bystander. I mean, look, she was there and she was protesting, but they were within their rights to do that. But she wasn't driving the car. I don't know what the possible basis would be for the criminal investigation. And it looks like a deflection from the underlying issue of why this ICE officer shot Ms. Good, while she was behind the wheel of her car.
Just quickly before we let you go, any big rulings you're looking for from the U.S. Supreme Court in the coming weeks?
I don't know what's going to be coming out. I'm really watching the docket to see what cases are going in. It's going to be another big year. In fact, we might want to spend one of these segments just talking about, previewing what rulings are coming down between now and the end of June. Because as we've discussed, the Supreme Court generally issues all of its rulings from the October to June session by the end of June or early July. So there's no doubt lots to talk about. Maybe we could do a little preview.
All right. Well, former State Attorney General Rob McKenna, a lot we went over with you today. Always appreciate your time. We'll check in with you next week.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. It's 7:23. Right now, we need to get to traffic. We do that every 10 minutes, and Sully has lots to talk about.
And we are getting much worse on the drive out of the Linwood area. Even though our crashes on 405, both of them have cleared, we have hour and 15-minute trips from Linwood, which puts us at about an hour and 40 all the way from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. For 405, the brake lights begin right there at the beginning of it there at Linwood, right at the Alderwood Mall, and go all the way down into about 85th and Kirkland. That's where we had a crash blocking the right lane. Also compacting this is that we have a crash on westbound 526, the Boeing Freeway, and that has backed up both directions of I-5 right around that interchange. As for I-5, it's a pretty good drive from Linwood till you get to the Edmonds exit, and then you're in an 8-mile backup that goes all the way down to the U District. Again, we're running 40 minutes behind schedule. Again, nothing that we didn't anticipate. 99 is filling in now from Northgate all the way down towards Green Lake. If you get on at Green Lake or by the zoo or in Fremont, you're going to be okay because it isn't backed up all the way yet. Lake City Way is starting to get into the act a little bit as well. We do see our first little morning slowing on northbound I-5 getting up past the 520 bridge, where we do have the lane closures on the Ship Canal Bridge. Kind of starts there at Mercer. Plan on about 10 extra minutes there. Rented to Bellevue, about 35 minutes. We're starting to see action over the top of I-90. Valley Freeway, 50 minutes from end to end. Federal Way to Seattle, looks like we might have been working with a crash right near the Kent-Des Moines Road. One of the reasons why we've kind of pushed up to an hour for the first time this week from Federal Way to Seattle. Olympia to Tacoma, not bad. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Morning fog in spots and cloudy this afternoon, a high of 51. Next few days after this, partly to mostly sunny in the afternoons with highs in the low 50s. 47 right now in Seattle.
And coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has a look at the day ahead in the legislature, and you have a commentary on the way.
Yeah, in commentary, we'll talk about Katie Wilson and her actions over a homeless encampment in North Seattle.
That's coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
Well, a word here, let's be honest. Saving for retirement is hard. It takes years of discipline, sacrifice. You got to say no to things you probably wanted to say yes to. So if you've managed to put away $300,000 or more, that is a real accomplishment. And the last thing you want to do is hand more of it over to the IRS than you have to. But here's what a lot of people don't realize. Taxes could be your single biggest expense in retirement. Taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, taxes on your Social Security, taxes on your investment income. It adds up fast. That's why I want to tell you about the team at Boss Retirement Solutions. They are offering a free, customized retirement tax savings analysis. No cost, no obligation. They'll show you strategies that could significantly reduce what you owe so more of your hard-earned money stays with you. Boss has 2 locations here in Seattle. You can give them a call at 206-210-1350. That's 206-210-1350. You have worked too hard to overpay in taxes when you retire. 206-210-1350.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No statement contained herein should constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
This hour is brought to you by CM Heating.
This is what the NFL playoffs are all about.
The Seahawks win the game!
A dominant Seahawks team, 2 wins away from the Super Bowl.
This is the vision that we had for our team.
Hosting a bitter rival.
Richard Sherman tips it!
In front of the best, loudest fans in the game.
Listen to the 12th man!
Let's go. Seahawks 49ers, Saturday night. Kickoff at 5 on the home of the Seahawks. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
I'm worried.
About what?
Water.
Oh?
Hot water, if you really want to know.
Water heater worries?
Worried it's wearing down.
Running out?
The hot doesn't last like it used to.
So you're...
Worried.
I got a guaranteed fix.
Let me guess. A new water heater.
Right, but...
That's what worries me.
Well, worry no more.
Why?
What you need is an Apollo Plumbing water heater.
Because?
We include Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Wrenchie's what?
Worry-free warranty.
Which means?
When it wears out, we replace it.
No extra charge.
As an A-List Club member, you're covered for life.
For life?
For as long as you're an A-List member, you get annual life-extending water heater flushes included.
So it lasts longer.
Right.
And when it needs replacement,
you're covered.
With no worries.
Because it's Wrenchie's
worry-free warranty.
What else would you expect from the Ready Right Now plumbers?
Apollo Plumbing.
Home of Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
What about tankless ones?
Worry-free too.
Gotta love that Wrenchie.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Paid political announcement.
More than half of short-term rentals across Washington are booked by Washingtonians. Families traveling for their children's tournaments and games. Firefighters fighting wildfires. Traveling nurses providing critical care. Every day, short-term rentals are helping make travel more affordable. Legislators in Olympia are considering increasing taxes on short-term rentals. But with the cost of everything going up, we can't take another price increase. Keep travel affordable for us. Paid for by Airbnb helps our state thrive host pack.
Happy New Year, Susan. I really appreciate you picking up the bill for lunch.
I'm happy to. One of my New Year's resolutions is being better with money. So I've started using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for buying gas.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I earn cash back just for buying the gas I was already buying.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play and start earning cash back on everyday gas purchases. Use promo code RIDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents per gallon on your next fill up. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RIDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RIDER. Code RIDER.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
You're 62 or older, lots of equity in your home, and you want to pull some cash out, but a refinance or HELOC, well, it means a bigger payment. And the cost of selling your home, it's insane. So what should you do? Hey, Brock Hewitt here for Tila Mortgage. You don't need to live at a lower standard than you deserve. You really got three options. Number one, sell your home. Two, get a HELOC or refinance. Or three, get a reverse mortgage. Tila has done the analysis and believes that a reverse mortgage is the most cost-effective way for seniors to get cash out of their homes without selling and having the option of no monthly mortgage payment. Too good to be true? No. Call today and let's compare. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Give them a call today. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we understand improving your home is an investment in your family, and we're here to help make it easier. With our flexible financing, keeping your family safe, comfortable, and dry has never been more affordable. For more than 20 years, Guardian has earned the trust of thousands of homeowners across the Pacific Northwest with a reputation for quality that lasts. So why wait? Start guarding your home today. Call or visit guardianroofing.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning, it is 7:31. Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson's campaign has been fined for failing to properly report more than $10,000 in campaign-related child care expenses paid by her parents.
It's an issue that drew praise from supporters and criticism from opponents during the mayoral race. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here to break it down.
Yeah, Charlie, according to the Seattle Ethics and Elections Commission, they received a tip in late October that Wilson's campaign received contributions from Wilson's mother and that Wilson and her mother violated Seattle's contribution limits. So the commission investigated. In a letter obtained by Seattle Red 770 AM, the commission said they found Wilson's mom and dad sent her campaign more than $10,000 to pay for childcare for Wilson's daughter. However, the letter says the money was a campaign contribution and the campaign never reported it. When it first leaked that Wilson's mom and dad were sending her money, Wilson's team used that to draw attention to the issue of childcare affordability across the city. She even posted about it on X. This was Wilson and her mom sitting on a sofa together talking about the issue.
So is this about Josie, my granddaughter's child care?
I really appreciate you chipping in for child care during a stressful campaign. And I also know that a lot of families aren't that lucky.
In the end, the commission said Wilson refunded her mother the amount of money that exceeded the city's contribution limit. They also said because Wilson's campaign cooperated with staff, and this was the first time they'd ever seen a campaign contribution from a mom and dad for childcare like this, they only fined the Wilson campaign $250. Now, Charlie and Amanda, if someone gifts someone money directly, the recipient might have to pay a gift tax depending on how much money we're talking about. If you give it to a campaign, a gift tax does not apply. That said, we don't know exactly how much money Wilson's mom and dad sent her campaign over that course of time, only that the commission found it exceeded limits, and Wilson did not report it until the commission investigated.
Luke, thank you. 7:33, and we check traffic on the threes now with Chris Sullivan.
And it is another difficult day getting down from Snohomish County. We have hour and 40-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. Brake lights in the usual suspect locations. One little addition to this, one little sprinkling of spice over our tough drive, is we also have a crash on westbound 526, the Boeing Freeway, just west of I-5, which is backing up both I-5 north and southbound. So that's adding to the travel time out of Everett. We've also got a crash a little bit further to the north of that on southbound I-5 as well. So it's not all the way from Linwood, but a lot of it is. Out of Linwood, it's going to take you an hour and 20 minutes to go from Linwood to Seattle or Bellevue. That, again, is about a 40-minute delay overall over what you might have been expecting. We do have a new crash to tell you about on northbound 405 in the Renton area. The HOV lane is blocked as you get up towards Sunset. Up to 40 minutes now to make the drive into Bellevue. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, at least 30 minutes out of Auburn and an hour from Puyallup. Federal Way to Seattle, a little heavier than the last couple of mornings. We're hovering just under an hour, so slightly faster than normal, but really not all that much. Olympia to Tacoma's nice and easy, and we do have about an 8-minute delay on northbound I-5 getting through the Ship Canal Bridge, where we do have those two right lanes blocked. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast might see a little light drizzle in spots this morning. Otherwise, just a cloudy day and 51 for the high. And then things are going to start to look up. We'll see some sunshine after the fog clears tomorrow, a high of 50. Friday, pretty much the same deal. And then Saturday and Sunday both look mostly sunny with highs into the low 50s. Right now, it's cloudy and 50 in Seattle.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974, this is KIRO News Radio.
And it's time for the 7:35 commentary. The trucks were ready. The schedule was set. City crews were supposed to be in Ballard at 8:30 this morning to clear a homeless encampment near the Burke-Gilman Trail. Then the email went out to Como 5 p.m. last night. The removal is off, indefinitely postponed. This was the first real test of the Katie Wilson era, and we just got our answer on how the next 4 years are going to look. Advocates lobbied hard to stop this. They wanted to see if the new mayor would stick to her promises to end removals. She did. The city blinked. The tents stay. Advocates call this a victory. They say it prevents displacement and gives time to connect people with housing. And housing is essential. Nobody argues against that. But housing alone isn't a cure. If you take someone suffering from severe addiction or untreated mental illness and you put them in an apartment without requiring treatment, you're just moving the suffering behind a closed door. And in Seattle, we don't require treatment. We don't insist on rehab. We don't even ask unless the person brings it up first. We call that meeting people where they are. Well, right now, we're meeting them in a tent in Ballard. And by canceling this removal, We're telling them they can stay there. Encampments don't get safer on their own. They grow, they attract dealers, they become hazards for the people inside and the neighbors outside. Without the pressure of a scheduled removal, there's very little incentive for anyone to change their situation. The philosophy seems to be if we just wait long enough, offer enough unconditional support, people will eventually choose recovery. Okay, I'm skeptical. I've seen too many people lost to fentanyl to believe that the drug lets you make rational choices on your own timeline. Sometimes you need a push. Sometimes you need an intervention. Canceling the sweep removes the intervention. This sets a precedent. Advocates now know that political pressure works. And think about this location. The camp is in an industrial area. It's not blocking a sidewalk. It's not on a playground. If the city can't summon the will to clear this one, what happens when tents show up in Green Lake or Cal Anderson or next to your kid's elementary school? You might think, well, it's an industrial area. Let them say it's better than a park. Maybe, but once you decide it's okay to ignore the rules in one part of town, it gets really hard to enforce them in another. If we say yes here, how do we say no when they move 3 blocks over to a residential street? We've seen what happens when we enable addiction and call it compassion. We've seen it on 3rd and Pine. We've seen it at 12th and Jackson. We've seen it on Aurora. The advocates declared victory last night. The tents are still standing in Ballard this morning. 17 people still living outside. Indefinitely postponed sounds like a reprieve, but I worry if it's just permission to keep suffering. Is this just a preview of the next 4 years of the Katie Wilson administration? We're about to find out. And that's the commentary for January 14th, 2026. You can shoot us a note on the text line, 888-973-5476, and you can leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
It's 7:39. A couple of business notes this morning. An iconic Gig Harbor spot is changing hands. The Tides Tavern will soon be owned by Anthony's Restaurants, but the name stays. Owner Dylan Stanley says his family is grateful for 53 years of support. He says Anthony's, another family-owned company, will honor the tavern's legacy. According to the News Tribune, the chef and management team will stay, and the sale could close in 4 weeks.
And one of Seattle's oldest movie theaters closing its doors. The Varsity Theater in the U District shuts down tomorrow. Jeff Brain with Faraway Entertainment says the decision wasn't easy. He points to shrinking ticket sales, higher operating costs, and shorter theatrical windows. And that means movies hit streaming much faster now. According to the Seattle Times, after tomorrow, the U District will have no movie theaters left.
All right, Chris Sullivan, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to break down the 40-minute delays that we have coming out of Linwood and really the laundry list of crashes that we've had this morning. We'll break it down next.
This is what the NFL playoffs are all about.
The Seahawks win the game!
A dominant Seahawks team, 2 wins away from the Super Bowl.
This is the vision that we had for our team.
Hosting a bitter rival.
Richard Sherman Tipson!
In front of the best, loudest fans in the game.
Listen to the 12th man!
Let's go. Seahawks 49ers, Saturday night. Kickoff at 5 on the home of the Seahawks. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
I'm here with Wes Jones of sellwithwes.com. And Wes, you were just telling me you think 2026 is going to be a rebound year for the housing market.
That's right. I think we're heading into the best real estate market of the past 4 years. And here's why. If you take a step back and look at the big picture, Experts are anticipating a 15% increase in sales volume next year. Interest rates are at near 3-year lows and trending down, and home prices have held near all-time highs. There is a lot of pent-up demand. People have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for their time to jump into the market since 2022, and they need a place to buy.
So, hey, 2026 might be your year. If you're considering selling your home, if you're thinking about moving, but there was something that was just holding you back, now might be a great time. So do this. Go to sellwithwes.com. You can see your home's real value there with Wes's home value calculator. Then schedule an appointment by giving him a call. Sellwithwes.com. Sellwithwes.com. It really just is a better way to sell your home.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
7:43 now. We check in with Chris Sullivan for traffic on the 3s.
And we have more to discuss than just the loss of the express lanes for those of you coming out of Snohomish County. We've been dealing with a crash on southbound I-5 approaching the Boeing Freeway out of Everett, and a crash on the Boeing Freeway itself just west of I-5. So those are also contributing to our overall travel times from Everett. And then so when you add that in, we're looking at 45-minute delays maybe overall. We're running close to an hour and 45 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. An hour and 20 of that is also from Linwood, because we've had 2 crashes on the 405 corridor today. Both have cleared, but I mean, we're bumper to bumper from Linwood down through Kirkland. For I-5, it's a pretty good drive till you get to the Edmonds exit, and then from there on down, it's really become what we've gotten used to. The window to use 99 southbound has closed. It's now backed up from Northgate all the way through the zoo and across the Aurora Bridge and down into South Lake Union. So no options for you. Northbound I-5, Federal Way to Seattle, running under an hour, probably closer to 52 minutes. So that's about 10 minutes faster than normal. Valley Freeway, yeah, it's been off and on slow today. A lot more action in Auburn, a little bit at the north end. We're over an hour from Puyallup to Renton. 35 of those minutes from Auburn. Renton to Bellevue, we're still working with a stall in the HOV lane as you get up towards Sunset. Overall, about 40 minutes to make the drive. The lake bridges are hanging in there, though they are starting to break down. And both directions of 512 are a little heavy going through Parkland at this point. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, we're going to stay mostly cloudy for today. We're headed for a high of 51. You might see some fog in spots this morning or a little light drizzle. And tomorrow, fog early on, then sunshine by afternoon and 50. It's going to be nice for several days. No rain in the forecast through at least Tuesday. For Friday, fog early on, but then sunny. Saturday and Sunday, mostly sunny and into the low 50s. Right now, it is 50 in Seattle.
Coming up, CBS Justice correspondent Scott McFarland breaks down why several federal prosecutors in Minnesota are stepping down this week. That's on the way on Seattle's Morning News.
Well, the wet, chilly weather has certainly arrived. It's Mike Salk here, and if your attic and crawl space are well insulated, your home should be fine. Should feel cozy and warm without your furnace having to work overtime. But you'd be surprised to learn how many homes in Western Washington lack insulation in these spaces. It's why you call Crawl Pros. If you're feeling cold drafts or seeing that heating bill spike, now's a great time to learn if you got anything going on behind that crawl space or attic by calling Crawl Pros. They'll come out to your house just like they did to mine, do the corner-to-corner inspection. In my case, they found the problem, showed me the pictures, and then they got it all fixed. Now, if they do discover your home is under or improperly insulated, they'll show you all the utility rebates that are available to help you get the work done correctly. Like if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could get a rebate to cover up to 95% of the cost of the insulation job. If you're worried anything is going on in your crawl space or attic, including critters, water intrusion, mold, plumbing issues, anything, call Crawl Pros and schedule your free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
It's the Clearance Savings Spectacular at Olympic Hot Tub. We're slashing prices on hot tubs, saunas, and swim spas. Even bigger savings on floor models. Plus, no interest through 2031. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet.
That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Adrian here from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Winter might seem like an odd time to replace your windows, but now is when you get the best deals. Our Leak Armor installation team will keep your home warm and dry while installing beautiful, new energy-efficient windows. You'll feel the difference right away. Quieter rooms, lower energy bills, and a more comfortable home.
Right now, save $600 on windows and $1,500 on doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
It's now 7:48. Well, one of the big headlines this morning, at least 6 federal prosecutors from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota have resigned amid a DOJ-led probe into the ICE shooting of Renee Good.
Well, following the story for CBS News is Justice correspondent Scott McFarland, who joins us live. Scott, give us a little context. What is the DOJ apparently asking prosecutors to do in this probe?
This is quite a bit of resistance inside the Department of Justice to what the Department of Justice is doing, Charlie. The Department of Justice has initiated an investigation into this remarkably controversial killing, but into the woman who was shot. They're not investigating the agent who pulled the trigger, and that has caused some internal dissension in addition to outrage in the community and across the country. There's been this wave of resignations in the wake of that decision. At least a half dozen prosecutors and attorneys inside the U.S. Attorney's Office, the federal prosecutor's office in Minneapolis. 6 people in an office that small, that is a big wave of resignations. And also, CBS News has confirmed about a half dozen resignations here in Washington in the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice, which is the arm of the Department of Justice which investigates use of force by police. They've also left in this exodus in the wake of this decision. I think there could be more people who decide this is a bridge too far. They're not going to stay. And I think it's not just because the Department of Justice is not going to investigate the federal agent, as is the custom in fatal shootings, but also that they blocked out the local investigators from doing it too. There will be no investigation of the agent who pulled the trigger and the righteousness of this shooting.
One of the prosecutors, Scott, is Joe Thompson. He is of particular interest. Why?
Well, he's been a high-profile figure in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minneapolis. He's not just a rank and file, employee. He's a leadership figure and somebody who has some heft. But also, he's been a key figure in the ongoing investigations of fraud in the federal justice system in Minnesota. And you'll recall that's been a big priority of the president, to get after fraud or Somali fraud in Minneapolis. He is now stepping away from that assignment too.
How unusual is it for the federal government to push out local authorities from looking closely at a shooting and an investigation like this, Scott?
Well, it's not common for the feds and the locals to not play well together. I mean, there are these relationships that have been built. And we see that in Seattle. The local police, the county, they have relationships with the state and with the federal government so that they can join forces when needed on big things and complex things. Those relationships are treasured. They are built over years, if not decades. To see them fall apart unilaterally in a place like Minneapolis at a moment like this, it's uncommon. It's also a problem, because if you fracture those relationships, it makes everybody less safe and makes crime easier to execute. You have fewer partnerships in law enforcement.
I want to switch gears while we have you and talk about the threat from President Trump to halt federal funding for sanctuary cities. Of course, here in Seattle, we are considered one of those cities. Do we know anything about how this would go down?
I can guarantee you, you can bet the house, the farm, and the car on this one. This is going to go to court. It's going to be a legal battle to stop any attempt to cut off federal funding approved by the U.S. Congress to cities far and wide across America, and especially when you consider the corrosive nature of this type of threat, which is it's against blue states or blue cities. That's just not going to be allowed to go without legal challenges, not just by those cities and those states. And I'd expect Seattle or the state attorney general to be some part of a challenge. And I think it's going to cause enough concern in Congress that even a sycophantic Congress may try to stop that from happening.
And Scott, while we have you, this coming across the wire in the past hour or so, Washington Post reporter has had their home searched by the FBI. What are we learning about this?
There's an investigation, a criminal investigation underway in Maryland of somebody suspected of possessing or some way disseminating classified information, a criminal offense, national defense secure information. As a component of that investigation into a man in Maryland, the home of a Washington Post reporter has been raided in Virginia. That is a remarkably provocative thing to do. To say it's controversial is a wild understatement. It has a chilling effect, not just on reporters, but on government sources who may want to keep the government honest and work with reporters. And the White House has just issued a statement saying leaking classified information puts America's national security and the safety of military heroes in serious jeopardy, and the president has zero tolerance for it. I think this is going to emerge as one of the big stories of the day, even at a moment, Charlie, where there's a lot of big stories happening at once.
We have just seconds left, but I have to tell you, Scott, that every morning I check your X feed because I learn something from you every day. You're a highly respected correspondent. And yesterday's post, I believe it was, multiple sources have indicated dry January has been an ambitious idea in 2026. You even have a sense of humor.
Let's try it a different year.
There's a lot to keep track of this year so far.
All right. CBS's Scott McFarland. Thank you, Scott. We need to check traffic on the threes, and Chris Sullivan is watching the roads.
And we are settling into our 40-minute delays out of Linwood. Hour and 20-minute trips for both I-5 and 405 to get you down into Seattle and into Bellevue. The good news is that the couple of the crashes a little bit further to the north might be clearing. One of them we've been dealing with all morning, just west of I-5 on westbound 526, the Boeing Freeway, and then another one on I-5 southbound before you even got there. So overall, we're looking at about an hour and 45 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. Westbound across the trestle is pretty heavy at this point. That just appears to be volume. The stalled vehicle that we've been dealing with on 405 right near Sunset appears to be out of the way, but we have about a 40-minute trip from Renton to Bellevue. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, about an hour. Nothing spectacular about that drive. Federal Way to Seattle, closer to an hour today, as we do have heavier brake lights past the middle of Boeing Field into downtown and up into the downtown exits. There are also about a 10-minute delay. There is a 10-minute delay getting up towards the Ship Canal Bridge, where we still have those lanes blocked. And across the lake, though, we're still doing okay. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast for today, we're going to stay mostly cloudy with highs around 50. Tomorrow by the afternoon, we'll likely see some sunshine after the fog lifts. Right now in Seattle, cloudy and 50.
Busy next hour. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey will talk to us about the controversy stirred up by former Seattle City Council member Shama Sawant.
Also, our legislative correspondent Jerry Cornfield will join the show with an update from Olympia. That's coming up at 8:15.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
What burning questions do you have? You can help drive the conversation by going to mynorthwest.com or text Choke Points to 888-973-5476.
Tuesdays and Thursdays on Seattle's Morning News.
Hey homeowners, are you stuck on the credit card treadmill and stressed because your consumer debt and monthly payments are too high? Well, Brock Hewitt here with a smart solution. Your home's equity in the Seattle Metro is probably larger than ever. It's like you're sitting on a stack of cash. Consider a cash-out refinance with Tila Mortgage to consolidate your high-balance credit cards, second mortgages, home equity lines of credit, and student loans, or get cash for a remodel. With interest rates finally coming down, consolidating your debt now may be the best decision you ever make. With excellent client reviews and trusted in Washington for over 25 years, Tila has competitive rates on refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgages too. TILA, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Call TILA Mortgage today, 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
TILA Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
For a long time, I thought retirement planning was mostly about hitting a number. Get there, and then life starts. Hi, this is Ursula Royteen. What Trajan Wealth helped me see is that the number is really only part of the story. At Trajan Wealth, their advisors are fiduciaries, which means they're obligated to put your needs first, and they start by asking how you actually want your life to feel. When Mark and I sat down with them, we talked about having more time with family, more time to travel, and how to make thoughtful choices without feeling like we had to put today on hold for tomorrow. I have goals for today and for when I retire. If you're ready to start the new year with straight talk and thoughtful guidance, call Trajan Wealth today and schedule a free meeting. Trajan, spelled Trajan. Call 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300, or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
If you've been injured in a car accident, you have two choices: handle everything yourself or hire an experienced attorney. Go it alone, and you'll be on the phone with insurance adjusters, chasing medical records, fighting for lost wages, and trying to figure out what your case is really worth. Hire the right attorney, and they take all that off your plate so you can focus on getting better. Harold Carr Law Offices has a dedicated team of 48 people and more than 35 years of experience handling car accident cases right here in our community. Harold Carr Law Offices handles big cases and small ones while still treating their clients like family. Here's the difference they make. They save you time, reduce your stress, and get you significantly more money than you'd ever get on your own. Harold Carr Law Offices fights for you at no out-of-pocket cost to you. If you're in a car accident, call them right away. Visit carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call CAR.
Every season is a little bit different here in Washington, but I'll tell you what, the amount of rain never seems to change in the winter, and we have sure gotten a ton of it this season. All that rain, all that water, it's all got to go somewhere. And if it makes its way into your crawl space, that's when it can create all sorts of problems, including real structural damage, which could really affect your home. But more importantly, for the health of your family, the water in that crawl space could create toxic mold, and that has serious health repercussions. Thankfully, we have Crawl Pros. They can come in and keep your crawl space dry, install a sump pump and drainage, and reroute that water back out and away from your home. They'll also take care of any mold that may have been created. Don't take the risk. It's too important. The best way to learn if you have any water is to ask Crawl Pros to visit your home and inspect your crawl space for free. Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to. So if you're worried about water damage, mold, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. President Trump says anything less than having Greenland in American hands is unacceptable and that NATO should help arrange for the U.S. to get control. Officials from Greenland and Denmark are now meeting with Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Rubio. CBS's Aaron Navarro.
Greenland's prime minister has repeatedly said that Greenland's not for sale, and it seems the aim of requesting this meeting is to try and find some compromise to offer enhanced cooperation and access to Greenland for the U.S. in exchange for them to stop the rhetoric in terms of taking over the country.
Well, now to Iran. The head of the country's judiciary calls for swift punishment of imprisoned protesters. President Trump has indicated executions would prompt a strong U.S. action. CBS's Courtney Keeley.
They've already said there will be executions. They've already gone to the Tehran prisons, and the history of Iran is executions back in the beginning of the regime in the 80s. The number got up to 5,000 in terms of execution.
A number of personnel have been told to leave a U.S. military base in Qatar in response to, quote, current regional tensions. Well, here at home, CBS's Michael Wallace tells us the FBI executed a search warrant at the home of a Washington Post reporter this morning in what's been termed a leak investigation.
The search was part of the Bureau's investigation into a government contractor who allegedly stashed classified government intelligence reports in his lunchbox and basement. Agents searched Post reporter Hannah Natansen's Virginia home and seized her phone, 2 laptops, and a Garmin watch. The Post says it's not unusual for the FBI to investigate leaks to reporters, but it is rare for agents to search a reporter's home.
On the Health Watch, a new study indicates U.S. childhood vaccination rates are going down, and non-medical exemptions to vaccination requirements are associated with an increased risk of disease outbreaks. Dr. Nathan Lowe is an infectious disease specialist at Stanford University.
In most states, there's at least one pocket of higher use of these vaccine exemptions, which then, is linked with lower vaccine coverage and outbreak risk.
Well, to Detroit now, where WWJ Radio's Jeff Gilbert is covering the annual auto show.
The winner of the North American Car of the Year is the Dodge Charger.
The Charger, both gasoline and electric, honored for power and efficiency. Ford's Maverick Lobo winning Truck of the Year for its lowrider style.
Ford earning the Truck of the Year for 6 years in a row.
And on Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 270. This is CBS News.
Real crimes, real justice. Follow and listen to 48 Hours on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
8:03, traffic on the threes every 10 minutes with Chris Sullivan.
And 3 days into our months of hell, and I'm thinking this is kind of what we can expect going forward. For I-5 southbound, it's going to look really good through Linwood. Then you're going to get to Edmonds, and then it's just going to bog down for about 8 miles all the way into downtown. 99 is going to fill in like it has. Lake City Way is going to fill in like it has. And 405 is going to take a lot of diversion. Now, it didn't help today that we've had crashes in South Everett and on the westbound Boeing Freeway in Everett that caused problems on I-5, and 3 issues on southbound 405 today. One of them still active right near 160th there as you get out of the 522 interchange. And what that's left us with is about an hour and 45-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. So about 40 minutes behind schedule. That's been kind of normal. The Lake Bridges, westbound 520 is starting to get into the mix because you're driving right into the actual closure of the 2 lanes on the Ship Canal Bridge. And there is about a 10-minute backup getting out of downtown. Getting into downtown on northbound I-5, just under an hour. Not bad. About an hour from Puyallup to Renton. There's a lot more breaking up through Pacific and Algona than I'd like to see at this point. A little bit more at the north end. Renton to Bellevue is about 40 minutes. I-90 going westbound, not too big of a deal. So actually not too bad there. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
8:04 on the Wednesday, January 14th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
Former council member Shama Sawant to return to Seattle City Hall yesterday, and chaos ensued.
Protesting immigration enforcement, Sawant and her supporters overwhelmed the council chamber, bringing the meeting to a halt. Here's KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey, who joins us live.
Charlie, call it a campaign stunt or a demonstration or a protest. Well, here's what it sounded like at yesterday afternoon's city council meeting.
Ice out now! Ice out now! Ice out now! Ice out now!
And as you heard, the chanting lasted beyond the cutoff time for public speaking, and so did a lot of comments from dozens of Sawant supporters wearing Sawant for Congress t-shirts. They were there to demand City Council take more action to stop ICE agents and President Trump's immigration policies across the city. Well, finally, it got to be too much. Here was Council President Joy Hollingsworth trying to get Sawant's team to allow the meeting to continue. She finally had to shut it all down.
Will you let us continue our business? And I'll tell you our plan after the meeting. Will you let us continue our business? Okay. So right now, Mr. Dean, right now we're going to go into recess. We're going to go into a 10-minute recess to cool it out, and I'll judge and see if we can come back here. If not, we'll finish the council business in my office. Thank you so much. Recess.
So that back and forth that you heard lasted for several minutes. That was just a small portion there. They did return the council after 10 minutes or so and finished up their short agenda. Sawant is running for Congress against Representative Adam Smith. However, this kind of tactic that was used last night, not very new to her campaign. Back in August, 3 people were arrested, Charlie and Manda, after Swant's supporters took over the stage at an Adam Smith town hall meeting in Renton.
Luke Ducey joining us live. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson held his State of the State address yesterday and reports the state of the state remains strong.
And in spite of a $2 billion budget gap, the governor proposes a state income tax for those making more than $1 million a year. And he points out currently the bottom 20% pay 13.8% in taxes, while the top 1% pays just 4.1%.
That's not fair, that's not right, and that's why I'm calling for something truly historic, a millionaire's tax.
Republicans warned if history is any indication, a millionaire's tax will eventually apply to all taxpayers.
President Trump says in a couple weeks he will block federal funding to sanctuary states and cities.
Starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens.
And this could hit Washington hard if it goes through. The state received billions of dollars from federal transfers last year. State are already staring at a $2.3 billion budget gap, even with federal money coming in. Seattle alone gets tens of millions annually for housing, homeless programs, energy projects. City leaders say they won't back down from sanctuary policies, even with funding at risk. Governor Ferguson told KOMO TV Washington State will fight any cuts in court, just like past attempts that judges struck down. And of note here, last year, Washington State gave the federal government roughly $57 billion more in taxes than it received in return.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, January 14th. Glad to have you with us. Sully's keeping track of traffic, and it's not pretty this morning.
Yeah, well, at least we have Edge playing guitar for us.
Which works very well.
Those work
Thank you,
very
Nick
well.
Krasia.
Nick Krasia picking the music. And we have David Burbank in the studio, and Jillian Raftery is our editor this morning.
It is day 3 of the state legislative session. We're going to check in with Jerry Cornfield from the Washington State Standard about the bills that have been talked about so far and what's to come.
And G. Scott stops by to explain why a new study says Seattle is a stressed-out city.
It's 8:09. Well, Seattle has postponed plans to clear a homeless encampment in Ballard. KOMO TV reports the city notified them late yesterday that the sweep scheduled for today is now on hold indefinitely. The site near Northwest 41st Street and the Burke-Gilman Trail is home to about 17 people. Advocates say the encampment is not blocking access and argue repeated removals only displace people without solving homelessness. Andrea Suarez with We Heart Seattle says Mayor Katie Wilson is sending the wrong message. She recorded a video outside the encampment.
This, from my perspective, will be a tragedy if these camps continue to stay. They are open-air drug scenes. I can hear the foil now. I can hear the clicking of torches. There's squalid living conditions. There's rodents. It's right here on the bike trail.
There's no word yet on when or if the city will try again.
A former Bothell City Council member pleads guilty to first-degree manslaughter. Here's KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery.
Court documents detail a turbulent, on-again, off-again relationship between 58-year-old James McNeil and 20-year-old Lilia Gajvoronsky. In April of 2024, McNeil's attorney called 911. She said her client had authorized her to call police to notify them of a death. When investigators got to Gajvoronsky's apartment, they found her naked in bed. She was dead and had been for at least 24 hours. Investigators determined she'd been strangled. McNeil was found with self-inflicted wounds. Prosecutors have asked for more than 10 years in prison when he's sentenced. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Authorities say Tacoma City Hall was forced into lockdown when a former Human Services Commissioner made violent threats.
Tacoma City Hall went into lockdown on January 6th after police say a woman sent dozens of violent threats to city employees and healthcare workers, many of them mentioning an AK-47. Prosecutors have charged 63-year-old Kimberly Ann Ellison with felony harassment and obstruction. KIRO 7 TV reports that according to a city employee, Ellison had openly discussed past struggles with addiction and mental illness. In Tacoma, Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
We're learning just how many homes and business owners in King County reported significant damage from the floods last month. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin is speaking with emergency managers.
KCEM says 396 people reported damage to their homes and 62 businesses reported damage as well.
The first stage is really collecting that information, finding out what's been damaged, how much it's been damaged, if it's minor, moderate, major, or catastrophic, destroyed, and then getting people access to the resources.
He tells us there are still funds available for people who need help.
And Snohomish County is giving flood victims more time to clean up. You can keep dumping damaged household items for free at county solid waste sites. The voucher program was set to end Sunday, but they extended it. It runs through March 19th now. It only applies to homes hit by December's flooding, not businesses.
Nearly 20 years after human remains washed up on a remote Washington beach, they have been identified as belonging to a former Oregon mayor. Clarence Edwin Asher went missing while he was out crabbing in Tillamook Bay in 2006. The skeletal remains washed up 2 months later, more than 180 miles away. They couldn't be identified until Washington State sent them to a Texas-based company that does genetic genealogy. Asher was 72 years old. He was the mayor of a town called Fossil, Oregon, and ran a general store before his death.
It's now 8:12, and that's time for a check on the weather. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Nick Allard.
Count on a lot of clouds and some fog or some drizzle this morning. Don't have a ton of fog, but the fact is we could find some drizzle or some mist, and then I expect that stuff to lift. Except the cloud cover is going to stick around. It's just that it might rise up a little bit, meaning we're not going to have poor visibility anymore. From there, it's just cloudy, and temperature-wise, we're going to be right around, say, 50, 51, so it will be dry, but it's not going to be a very sunny day / really see much of any sunshine at all. Tomorrow, some fog in the morning, and then we see some sunshine in the afternoon, and that's the same idea for Friday, although a little bit less fog, and we just keep seeing the same pattern into the weekend. We get plenty of sunshine. It looks really nice. Temperature-wise, we should be right there in the low 50s through the weekend and even into next week.
Right now it is mostly cloudy and 49 in Seattle.
8:13, we check traffic on the 3s with Chris Sullivan.
And we've settled into our typical life for the next 5 months with the brake lights out of the Linwood area, just like we expect with the loss of the express lanes in the southbound direction. Got about an hour and 40-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue, with an hour and 20 of that away from Linwood. That's a 35-minute delay. For I-5, the brake lights begin about 195th and go all the way into the U District. For 405, it's really just centered there from Linwood down through Bothell. We also have a little bit in Kirkland. We had an earlier crash there. Lake City Way caught up in this as well. 99 southbound, also bumper to bumper from Green Lake all the way into South Lake Union. Westbound 520 caught in this as well, because you're driving right into the lane closures on the Ship Canal Bridge in the northbound direction. That backup right now, where we do have the 2 left lanes blocked, is about a 15-minute delay. Backup starts around Mercer. Once you're across the Ship Canal Bridge, it's a pretty good drive the rest of the way. Northbound I-5 does have brake lights from the north end of Boeing Field into downtown. About 35 minutes from South Center puts us at about an hour total from Federal Way. Valley Freeway, really heavy today getting through Pacific and Algona, so we're running at about 55 minutes still, even though it's only 25 out of Auburn. Rented to Bellevue, about 40 minutes. There is some braking in both directions of I-90 getting towards 405 in Bellevue, but nothing that you can't handle. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Well, good Wednesday morning. It is 8:15. It's day 3 of the legislative session here in our state in Olympia, and there is already a lot to talk about.
So let's call up one of the top reporters on the legislature, Jerry Cornfield from the Washington State Standard. Jerry, thanks for being here with us today. Could you maybe talk about first what the governor had to say in his State of the State address yesterday, and what stood out to you?
Well, good morning, and thanks for having me again. That's a tale of 2 Bob Fergusons, if you will. A year ago, he takes office, has an inauguration speech, and the Democrats, and that's his party, those lawmakers sat on their hands and were kind of grimaced when he spoke about his public safety, reform-minded agenda. And then yesterday, it was a different Bob Ferguson. I think he figured out, who he needs to speak to in that chamber, the majority party. So he touched on the issues they liked. They stood up, gave him really, I think, 2 standing ovations for some of the things he said. That's 2 more than he received a year ago. The Republicans, on the other hand, some of them actually walked off the floor during the speech. They were not happy with his tone. I mean, he didn't break any news in terms of what he said on his agenda. Once again, he leaned into wanting an income tax on those who make more than $1 million a year. He criticized again the immigration and customs enforcement officers, their tactics, and strongly urged a bill that would ban them from using and wearing masks and shielding their identities. He wants that bill on his desk so he can sign it. Talked about putting money into housing and maintaining the transportation system. So in some ways, he was kind of moved back towards a more typical tax and spend message from a Democrat lawmaker.
Since you brought up the millionaires tax, that seems to be taking a lot of the room right now. What are lawmakers on both sides saying about the potential of a millionaires tax?
All right, so I want to start first at this tax, which would be, I assume, would be challenged in court and show up on the ballot. If and when it would take effect, would not bring in any money in the next couple of years. I think we talk about it so much, folks think it's going to happen and take effect right away. They're talking about 2029 before the first dollars would come in. Most Democrats are philosophically aligned with taxing the income of those who make a lot of more than $1 million. There will be some Democrats in the caucuses in the Senate and House who will not vote for it. And in terms of Republican lawmakers, I think it's pretty much unanimous opposition to going down that path. Not only is it a tax on an income that they consider illegal under state constitution and state laws, but they just say it's another tax, and then the money it brings in is already spent. If you listen to the governor and others, they have places they want to put it in, so it isn't going to solve any long-term problems or challenges for the state.
Well, in the short term, the state has a shortfall in the budget of billions of dollars this year. What are some of the proposals you're hearing that would address this legislative session?
Well, it's worth noting, too, that was something the governor did not mention at all yesterday. There was no talk about a budget shortfall, no talk about the cuts and reductions in spending that he's proposing, but it's really kind of 3 pieces. He wants to take about $1 billion from the so-called rainy day fund, the emergency reserves. That's half of what's in there now. He wants to make a one-time big shift of nearly $600 million of Climate Commitment Act money. Those are the money from the selling of the pollution allowances. He wants to use that to fund the Working Families Tax Credit program through the end of this budget. So those are the 2 big pieces. He does have some across-the-board cuts, and some of those include 3% to the University of Washington and Washington State University, of course, other agencies. So that's kind of the 3 main pieces of what they say is $2.3 billion shortfall through the middle of 2027. Those 3 steps alone would deal with most of that.
Jerry, you briefly mentioned the bill that would limit when police officers can cover their faces when dealing with the public. This is getting a lot of buzz. What are you hearing about the discussions?
Well, the buzz yesterday, I had 2 hearings, one in the House version and one in the Senate. Thousands of people had signed up, not wanting to testify, but wanting to weigh in for and against that bill. The majority party of the Democrats, they do want to see it happen. I haven't counted any Republican votes yet or even heard Republicans stand up in support of the bill. But, I think the Democrats will move it. I think it will get to the governor's desk. How quickly? It's a 60-day session. It's the kind of thing it still might be, the last third of the session before it is passed and sent to the governor. As I understand, it would take effect July 1st. So there's no emergency clause. So if the voters or the folks really didn't want to see this happen, but Washington won't be the first state to try this and talk about this. And I suspect it will be signed into law and take effect.
Here we are. It's day 3. We're in the first week of the legislative session. Just give us an idea of the state of play, what you will be watching for over the next couple of days, maybe some bills that you have your eyes on.
Well, I just want to call out before we even talk about policy, the tone of this short session is going to be I think, more contentious than past years, even though there's some big issues in past years. The House Speaker Lori Jenkins made comments on her opening day address that angered Republicans. They said they thought her tone was a little too sharp. It was really weighed in on opposition to what the Trump administration has been doing. And she doubled down yesterday at a press conference saying, that from now until the last day of session, that was going to be the tone that people hear and see and experience from the Democrats. So I do think there's going to be some difficult conversations like the face coverings bills. But, we are going to start to see the things trickle out people want to deal with. There'll be some tax bills that have been introduced yesterday involving cigarette tax. There's going to be some tweaks in past bills. And then, so in terms of the really big ones, the face coverings grabbing the attention this week, and we'll have to see what grabs next week's attention.
Jerry, before I let you go, yesterday President Trump threatened to halt federal funding for sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. We here in Seattle, of course, are a sanctuary city. So is the state. What are you hearing in Olympia?
They've kind of, depending on who you talk to, Republicans have made a point of saying, look, we need to focus on what's happening in Washington state and not be obsessed with what's happening in the other Washington. And that's just the opposite of what the Democrats said. So nothing was being discussed openly, amongst in the hallways, if you will, of lawmakers. I think the governor is trying to, avoid some of that real public debate about it, because he's going to be making a request for millions, tens of millions of dollars of federal aid following December storms. So I think that they don't want to pick fights with the Trump administration on how and invite trouble into the sanctuary cities, if you will. But I think Washington, they have their law. We have the law here that tends to protect those cities and the state. So I think you'll see they'll be defensive about any attempts by the federal government to come in and take away money.
Well, certainly they'll be in session, too. If it's a February 1st deadline, they'll be in session. If any money is, for whatever reason, clawed back by the federal government, and, of course, lawsuits would be underway. Washington State Standard's Jerry Cornfield. Jerry, thanks for joining us. We'll be talking with you every week during this session. Really appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Take care. It's 8:23. We need to check the roads once again. We do traffic every 10 minutes, Sully.
And we've picked up the pace just a little bit coming out of the north end. We're back under an hour and 40 from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue, and about an hour and 15 now out of Linwood. So still 35-minute delays, but we're getting there. Every other southbound road is kind of caught up in this. I've been hearing from a lot of my drivers or, just people who live in the area, like Mike, who said he was just trying to drive around, run some errands in North Seattle. He said that people are just flying down Greenwood. They're flying down 99. They're in neighborhood streets doing anything they can to try to avoid this thing. 99 southbound is bumper to bumper from Green Lake all the way into South Lake Union. So, yeah, I mean, if you're trying to beat this by running through neighborhood streets that you're not familiar with because your GPS tells you to, you might want to reconsider. Not only is it going to be frustrating for you, that's also kind of dangerous, driving down streets you're not familiar with, especially while kiddos are waiting for the bus. So be prepared. The rest of the map, getting better. 405 northbound, back under 40 minutes. It's slow through the S-curves and over I-90, but nothing you can't handle. Valley Freeway is getting better. We're back to a 50-minute trip for you. Most of Tacoma and Pierce County is quiet. Federal Way to Seattle back down to 50 minutes with only 30 of those minutes from South Center. Lake bridges are okay. We still have a 10 to 15-minute delay getting out of Seattle northbound up to the Ship Canal Bridge where we have the two left lanes blocked. Only, it's about 15 minutes. The brake lights begin at Mercer. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Forecast calls for highs in the low 50s today, cloudy. Tomorrow and the next several days after that in Seattle will be partly to mostly sunny in the afternoons with highs 50, 51 degrees through the weekend. Right now, it's 47 in Seattle.
And coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey on some controversy already surrounding Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson.
Now, a word here. If you've saved more than $300,000 for retirement, that is something to be proud of. But I want to give you a heads up about something a lot of people don't think about until it's too late. Taxes. Taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals. Taxes on your Social Security, taxes on your investment income. When you add it all up, this could actually be your biggest expense in retirement. Nobody wants to give the government more than they have to. That's why I want to tell you about the folks at Boss Retirement Solutions. They are offering a free, customized retirement tax savings analysis at no cost, no obligation. They'll show you the strategies that could significantly reduce what you owe, so more of your money stays right where it belongs, with you. Boss has 2 locations here in the Seattle area. Give them a call, 206-210-1350, 206-210-1350. They'll take care of you, 206-210-1350.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No statement contained herein should constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
The G and Ursula Show.
There's a brand new Gallup poll out that shows independents are actually now the biggest group in the country.
Weekdays 9 to noon.
Does this surprise you?
No, it's like a card trick. People in card tricks, the reason why you get fooled is because you pay attention to what they say and you don't pay attention to what they do. Most people only start paying attention when elections, policies, and things start affecting you.
Subscribe to the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel and watch live.
It's a fact. When your eyes work correctly, light focuses through both your cornea and your lens to give you high-quality vision. Hi, it's Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision. Here's another fact. As we near age 50, we begin to lose the quality and function of our natural lens. That's when we start to reach for reading glasses and contemplate those cataracts on the horizon, typically in our 70s or later, but inevitable if we get old enough. Fortunately, K2 Vision has the advanced permanent solution for both, refractive lens exchange, or RLE. K2 Vision RLE is a quick, painless procedure that restores distance and near vision permanently. Plus, another thing is permanent. You will never develop a cataract. After over 20 years replacing over 100,000 failing lenses, we will help you determine when it's your right time for RLE. Go to k2visionrle.com and schedule a free Zoom consultation today. K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers. Permanently.
Paid political announcement.
More than half of short-term rentals across Washington are booked by Washingtonians. Families traveling for their children's tournaments and games. Firefighters fighting wildfires. Traveling nurses providing critical care. Every day, short-term rentals are helping make travel more affordable. Legislators in Olympia are considering increasing taxes on short-term rentals. But with the cost of everything going up, we can't take another price increase. Keep travel affordable for us. Paid for by Airbnb helps our state thrive host pack.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months, or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
I'm here with Wes Jones of sellwithwes.com. And Wes, you were just telling me you think 2026 is going to be a rebound year for the housing market.
That's right. I think we're heading into the best real estate market of the past 4 years. And here's why. If you take a step back and look at the big picture, experts are anticipating a 15% increase in sales volume next year. Interest rates are at near 3-year lows and trending down, and home prices have held near all-time highs. There is a lot of pent-up demand. People have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for their time to jump into the market since 2022, and they need a place to buy.
So, hey, 2026 might be your year. If you're considering selling your home, if you're thinking about moving, but there was something that was just holding you back, now might be a great time. So do this. Go to sellwithwes.com. You can see your home's real value there with Wes's home value calculator. Then schedule an appointment by giving him a call. Sellwithwes.com. Sellwithwes.com. It really just is a better way to sell your home.
How about a New Year's resolution where the commitment takes just one day and the results can last a lifetime? Address years of hair loss like I did with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment. Using your own natural hair, Advanced Hair can restore your bald spot, receding hairline, or thinning. All backed by Advanced Hair's guarantee. Celebrate the new year with a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Adrian here from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Winter might seem like an odd time to replace your windows, but now is when you get the best deals. Our Leak Armor installation team will keep your home warm and dry while installing beautiful, new energy-efficient windows. You'll feel the difference right away. quieter rooms, lower energy bills, and a more comfortable home.
Right now, save $600 on windows and $1,500 on doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Hi, Ursula Royteen here. There's a reason I send so many people to Carter Subaru and why I am a repeat customer. They are Seattle's only Subaru dealership, and they have the largest selection in the state with over 700 Subarus in stock. Right now, get a 2025 Subaru Outback with 3.9% financing. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline or Ballard or anytime at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 1/31/26.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 8:31. Investigators discovered more than $10,000 in child care-related campaign expenses were not properly reported by Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson's campaign.
Child care affordability was a central issue during Wilson's run for office. And KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey joins us live to break it down.
Yeah, Charlie, according to Seattle's Ethics and Elections Commission, they received a tip back in late October that Wilson's campaign received contributions from Wilson's mother and that Wilson and her mother violated Seattle's contribution limits. So the commission investigated. In a letter obtained by Seattle Red 770 AM, the commission said they found Wilson's mom and dad sent her campaign more than $10,000 to pay for childcare for Wilson's daughter. However, the letter says the money was a campaign contribution and the campaign never reported it. When it first leaked that Wilson's mom and dad were sending her money, Wilson's team used that to draw attention to the issue of child care affordability. She even posted about it on X. This was Wilson and her mom sitting on a sofa together talking about the issue.
So is this about Josie, my granddaughter's child care?
I really appreciate you chipping in for child care during a stressful campaign. And I also know that a lot of families aren't that lucky.
In the end, the commission said Wilson refunded her mother the amount of money that exceeded the city's contribution limit. They also said because Wilson's campaign cooperated with the staff, and this was the first time they'd ever seen a campaign contribution from a mom and dad for childcare, they only fined her $250. Charlie and Amanda, if someone gifts someone money directly, the recipient might have to, depending on how much money it is, pay a gift tax. If you give it to a campaign, a gift tax does not apply. That said, we do not know exactly how much money Wilson's mom and dad sent her during the campaign or to the campaign, only, again, that the commission found it exceeded limits, and Wilson did not report it until the commission investigated.
Okay, Luke, thanks for the update. 8:33 now, time for traffic on the threes. Here's Chris Sullivan.
Yeah, we picked up another 5 minutes over the last little bit coming down out of Snohomish County. So that's good. You're really not going to hit the brakes at all till you get away from Linwood and primarily on 405. It's bumper to bumper down through 522. We're still working with that crash near 160th. They're over on the left-hand shoulder. But the travel time has come back down to about an hour and 15 now from Linwood and an hour and a half to the Bellevue area, so that's about a 40-minute delay. For I-5 drivers, you're not going to hit the brakes away from Linwood until you get down through Mount Lake Terrace, kind of by the transit center at the Edmonds exit. And then it's going to be the grind the rest of the way on down. An hour and 20 minutes from Linwood to Seattle, hour and 35 all the way to Bellevue. Also getting reports from some of my drivers that Highway 9 is also really caught up in this. People are looking for ways to kind of get away from that drive, and so it is bumper to bumper through the Woodinville area, and then 522 is no picnic either, trying to get over to I-5, or 405, excuse me. Lake Bridges, still okay. Rest of the map, getting better. I mean, we're looking at Federal Way to Seattle of about 50 minutes. Valley Freeway, Puyallup to Renton, about 50 as well. Renton to Bellevue, 35. And you're going to need about 15 extra minutes to go out of Seattle, heading north towards the Ship Canal Bridge, where we have 2 left lanes blocked for construction. Give yourself, the backup begins at Mercer, and give yourself, as I said, 15 extra minutes. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
Well, Hock Tuan Huang is a PhD student at the University of Washington Information School, and he's been digging into a question a lot of us have, those of us who have those touchscreen dashboards. Just how distracted are we, really?
Well, his team partnered with Toyota Research Institute to put people in a driving simulator and measured everything from eye movement to pupil dilation. And he is with us here on Seattle's Morning News. Thanks for being here.
Yep, thank you for having me today. So I'm really happy to share my results.
So, let's talk about those results because you found a lot of interesting things in this research. What's the big takeaway here?
Yeah, I think I can start with the motivation of my study. So touchscreen have become a control center of cars, but touch interaction often requires eyes on screen time. And at the same time, distracted driving is a still public safety issue. For example, U.S. government traffic safety materials report 3,000 deaths in 2023 involving distracted driving and an estimated 300,000 injuries. So our work helps explain how distraction happens and put numbers on the performance trade-off between driving and screen interaction.
Tell us about the actual research. I mentioned that you put people in driving simulators. How did you actually do the study?
Yeah, sure. So the goal was to quantify distraction with real numbers, not just opinion. So we measured how driving changes touchscreen performance and how touchscreen use changes driving stability and how different levels of mental business, which we call cognitive load, change the way drivers look and move. So in a driving simulator, people drove while tapping the targets on the touchscreen. And we also added a memory task to simulate my brain is already full moments. And we then measured driving stability, touchscreen performance, and where people looked.
And so I was going to ask, what is happening here is you found that people start reaching even before looking, and that causes all sorts of issues. Can you describe that?
Yeah, sure. So that is about the hand before eye phenomenon. So it means people started moving their hands toward the touchscreen before their eyes fully move to the screen. So think of it as my hand is guessing where to go while my eyes are still on the road. So we saw this in 62% of trials, even without any kind of secondary task. And it was around 71% in higher cognitive load condition.
I think it seems common sense that you would be distracted by a giant screen in your car, but is there anything about your research that surprised you?
Yeah, so I think I can categorize my main research finding into two different things. So when people were driving, touchscreen tapping efficiency, which we call throughput, dropped it by 58% compared to not driving situation. And when touchscreen interaction was added, driving became less stable. So lateral deviation from the lane center increases from 0.3 meter without touchscreen to 0.4 meter with touchscreen. So we can say both tasks got worse when you force them to happen at the same time.
Do you think dash screens are a good idea based on this research? Would we be safer without them?
So I would say, I don't want to say touchscreens are evil because the benefit from the touchscreen is very clear. We can show more information with greater flexibility. But this research is saying that just using touchscreen can be very risky in high cognitive load situations. So with better design ideas and with our quantified results, we can design more safer touchscreens, like adding some haptic feedbacks, or we can make some adjustable touchscreen that can adapt into drivers' real-time states. So yeah, those kind of ideas are possible. And actually that is connected with our next study. So please stay tuned for our group's study.
All right, hands on the wheel, people. That is Hoktun Huang with the UW Information School. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to talking at your next study.
Thank you so much.
It's 8:39. Well, we're talking about cars. Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at the delays coming out of Snohomish County, and they're getting slightly better, so we'll break them down next.
This is what the NFL playoffs are all about.
The Seahawks win the game!
A dominant Seahawks team, 2 wins away from the Super Bowl.
This is the vision that we had for our team.
Hosting a bitter rival.
Richard Sherman tips it!
In front of the best, loudest fans in the game.
Listen to the 12th man!
Let's go. Seahawks 49ers, Saturday night, kickoff at 5 on the home of the Seahawks, KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
When the new year hits, every business could use a little something to stay ahead. A lift, a jump start, an edge, or perhaps a boost. Like the all-new 5-year business boost from Comcast Business. It's the certainty of a price lock for 5 years on qualifying internet bundles. Plus, you'll have the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment, so your whole team can stay connected at a great rate. And to sweeten the deal, ask about a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. It's the boost your business deserves. So sign up for the 5-year business boost and get a 5-year price lock on ultra-reliable Wi-Fi. Plus, ask about a $500 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/22/26, new customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees. Best Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Is leaking and rocks are moving and moon is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
It's 8:43. Time to check traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
Yeah, and it's going to take a little bit longer, but we've settled into our normal stuff. But the good news is we're picking up the pace just a little out of Snohomish County. We're seeing things get a little bit better, but it's going to take a while. I mean, we still have hour and 15 to hour and 20-minute trips out of Linwood to get to Seattle or to Bellevue. I-5, the brake lights begin a little closer to 175th and Shoreline now, though there are some brake lights up in Mount Lake Terrace as well. And then you're going to be on it all the way down across the Ship Canal Bridge to the downtown exits. So that's our life going forward. 405 is really from Linwood through Bothell before it thins out. Both lake bridges westbound are really caught up in this now. We're also seeing a crash on westbound 90 right as you get out of the Mount Baker Tunnel. Not sure which lane. I'll have more for you in 10, but give yourself 25 minutes to go from Bellevue over to Seattle. Northbound I-5 struggling from Mercer up across the Ship Canal Bridge where the 2 left lanes are blocked. That's about a 15-minute delay there. Northbound I-5 seeing the brake lights from the beginnings of Boeing Field past the West Seattle Bridge into downtown. We've got about a 35-minute trip from South Center and 50 all the way from Federal Way. Give yourself about 45 minutes now to run the Valley Freeway. It's actually turning out nicely today. Rented to Bellevue is 40 minutes, a lot more action over the top of I-90. Olympia to Tacoma is looking really good. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
A little foggy in spots this morning, otherwise just a mostly cloudy day and 51, so much cooler than yesterday. We hit 58 yesterday. For tomorrow, look for fog early on, then some sunshine by afternoon and 50. Same deal on Friday. So far, the weekend looks gorgeous. Lots of sunshine and highs into the low 50s. Right now, it's 49 in Seattle.
Well, a new study says Seattle is one of the most stressed out cities in America. Coming up, G. Scott swings by with his thoughts. That's coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
At Guardian Roofing Gutters and Insulation, we stand by our quality gutters. Whether you need a cleaning or a complete gutter install, we do it all. Call today and get $250 off a gutter installation. And visit us at GuardianRoofing.com.
A lot of businesses are looking ahead for guidance and the right partners in the new year, and the right bank can make a difference, right, Brad?
That's right, Dave. And WaFd Bank can help with business checking, express loans, lines of credit, business credit cards, and so much more. WaFd Bank is also an SBA preferred lender, so you can grow with confidence.
What about when you need help with something? In this digital age, does WaFd have an actual person available?
Absolutely. Our friendly and knowledgeable local business bankers are ready and waiting to help you with whatever your business might need. From day one, our bankers get to know you and your business to build a strong foundation for future success. This especially helps when it's time to apply for loans and to spot gaps in your business operations, so we can recommend the service that would be most helpful.
And to learn more, visit wafedbank.com or visit your local branch. Discover why they were awarded Best Bank multiple years in a row by numerous financial publications. WaFd Bank, built for business. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Loan subject to credit approval. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply.
When it comes to Subarus, Carter Subaru stands alone, literally. They're Seattle's only Subaru dealership with more than 700 Subarus ready to go. Looking for a Crosstrek? The 2025 Crosstrek is just 1.9% financing for 72 months. That's serious value on a great vehicle built for the Northwest. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline or Ballard or anytime at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 1/31/26.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
And here he is from the G and Ursula Show and the Reset Podcast.
Hey.
G. Scott joins us this morning. Good morning, G.
Good morning. I just got a text message from JSN about 5 minutes ago, and he's like, hey, I like that Steve Largent interview because Steve Largent was showing JSN love on there. Yeah. So if you missed it, it's on the Reset on YouTube. Go check it out right now. But I want to tell you guys this. A new study analyzed how often people in U.S. cities searched online for terms like work burnout, work stress, and how to deal with work stress. Well, based on that data, which cities do you guys think were one of the top in the United States?
Well, since we're talking about it, I'm guessing Seattle.
Oh, it's number 2, Manda. Number 2 in the United States for work-related stress and burnout. Atlanta, Georgia was number 1. In Seattle, over the past year, workers searched for stress relief nearly 5,000 times, which was high value compared to other cities. Now, before I keep going, let me ask y'all, any of you guys search for any stress-related ideas?
Well, no,
burnout?
Why would you Google work burnout? I know what that is. I don't need a definition.
I mean, but you might want to get some help with it.
Okay.
You know? Well, okay, so let me get to it.
Okay.
First of all, let me just tell y'all something. People ain't burnt out because they can't stand work. People are burnt out because it's a rat race. And you guess what? You can't afford the cheese, Lois. The cheese is expensive. It's overpriced, and it's hard to get it. So I want to just say you get rent up, groceries up, gas up, Netflix up, HBO Max up. Name something right now that isn't going up.
But this is true
Eggs.
everywhere, right? Eggs? Yeah.
Eggs are down.
Eggs are normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, that was a rhetorical question.
Gas is down significantly. Just not in our state. Just not in our state.
This is a serious question.
Yeah.
When you did go to the grocery store and eggs were down, which I agree, they are down.
Yeah, they were $83 at one point. Something like that.
No doubt. But when you left and you got in the parking lot, did you say to yourself, damn, the eggs. It's all about the eggs. No, because you looked at everything else, meat being 44% higher than it was a year ago.
Beef is crazy.
Again, I just want to simplify. You got a lot of stress. However, if you're a Seattle person or in the state of Washington, Pacific Northwest, or you're 12 and a Seahawk fan anywhere, you feel a little good. So my question is let's go around the room. What are your plans for the game on Saturday? Is anybody having a get-together? If you are, if I leave at halftime, can I come to your house and hang out?
This is actually funny over on this side of the studio.
Charlie, what are you doing for the game?
So, G, for the first time in years, back in, I don't know, August, I thought, I'm going to do something nice for my wife. And so as a surprise for Christmas, I got us tickets to go see the Neil Diamond musical for Saturday night in January. Not like I'd had plans on a Saturday night in January. So I will be watching the Neil Diamond musical.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to make fun of you, Charlie, because let me confess something to you. And by the way, you look like you'd go see a Neil Diamond.
It's going to be fabulous.
Anyways, I want to confess something.
Yeah.
So around September, I paid for another auctioneer boot camp to attend, and that boot camp starts this Friday.
Oh no!
And it goes through Sunday down in Phoenix, Arizona. So it was that plan. So I told them, I said to them, hey, I'm going to pay for this now, but if the Seahawks are, you know what? I said, I'll tell you what, keep my money, because if the Seahawks are doing well, I don't care. Well, here we are. So I won't be going to that deal. But they did. But you know what? They were so nice. They told me, they were like, hey, no problem, G. We'll just keep your money for the next time.
David won't be watching either.
David? What?
No.
What?
So that afternoon is my daughter's first birthday party. So we're going to have all friends and family over at the house. And it should be really fun. It should be over by like 6 p.m. So I think the thought is people might hang around, watch the game. I don't know. My mother-in-law and my mom are both huge Seahawks fans, so they're going to connect on that. They might stick around and watch the game, but I think we're going to
let me look at let me get saved by Sully. Sully, what you doing?
Mm-hmm. I'll be at the Silver Tips game.
Wait, are you serious, bro?
I forgot about you.
Wait, bro, what is going on? Wait, are we being serious?
Our good friend and coworker Ted Beener asked me like a month and a half ago. I was like, hey, do you want to go to catch a Silver Tips game sometime? I was like, yeah, sure. And it just happened to be Saturday at 6 o'clock.
Okay, Manda, can you save the day?
I am going to the game, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. Man, I'll see you there.
I can't wait.
Man.
So excited.
Wait, Nick? Are you good?
I'll be free. I'll be watching the game with some friends. Yeah.
Good.
Is Nick invited over to anyone's party?
Well, I'm not going to the Neil Diamond musical.
Okay.
I'll tell you that much.
All right. Wait. Would you rather go to David's birthday party or his?
I would probably lean towards the birthday party.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have cake and Jeopardy and cannolis.
Right. Now, Amanda, I gave you so much praise. Is it going to be hard for you to kick me out?
No. It's always easy to say you may be excused.
Oh, man.
Thanks for stopping by.
See you guys.
Listen to G and Ursula 9 to noon.
Sully, traffic.
Yes.
There
what would you
is
like to
some.
know? It's happening. We picked up another 5 minutes or so, hour and 10-minute trips from Linwood to Seattle or Linwood to Bellevue. We are definitely getting a little bit better on the I-5 corridor. You really don't hit the brakes now until about 175th. So that's good. But, I mean, the rest of the way on down, it's going to be a struggle. 99 is bumper to bumper from Green Lake all the way down to South Lake Union. Lake City Way in spots is not as bad as it has been the last couple of days. 405 bumper to bumper from Linwood on down. 522 is really caught up in this. So is Highway 9 getting down from Clearview. So expect delays there. Across the lake, not bad. 25 minutes from Bellevue to Seattle. On either one of the lake bridges. Federal Way to Seattle, still up at about 52 minutes. I think a lot more people decided to go that way today because they know they can get into the express lanes and there's no forced merge. So there's a few more people from, say, the South Center up to downtown. Rented to Bellevue is not bad at all. 35 minutes there and about a 10-minute delay getting out of Seattle up to the Ship Canal Bridge. This report brought to you by Wilcox Family Farms. Fresh food comes from local farms. Check the package. For healthier eggs, 3 times the omega-3s. Choose Wilcox Omega-3 eggs, locally fresh since 1909.
Cloudy and 51 today. It's 49 in Seattle right now.
The G and Ursula Show is next right here on KIRO News Radio.
This is what the NFL playoffs are all about.
The Seahawks win the game.
A dominant Seahawks team, 2 wins away from the Super Bowl.
This is the vision that we had for our team.
Hosting a bitter rival.
Richard Sherman Tipson.
In front of the best, loudest fans in the game.
Listen to the 12th man.
Let's go. Seahawks 49ers, Saturday night. Kickoff at 5 on the home of the Seahawks. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Right now, get a free furnace with the purchase of a premium heat pump and air cleaning package at CM Heating. Start today with an always free estimate. There's no beating CM Heating for heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical. Go to cmheating.com.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Well, the wet, chilly weather has certainly arrived. It's Mike Salk here, and if your attic and crawl space are well insulated, your home should be fine. Should feel cozy and warm without your furnace having to work overtime. But you'd be surprised to learn how many homes in Western Washington lack insulation in these spaces. It's why you call Crawl Pros. If you're feeling cold drafts or seeing that heating bill spike, now's a great time to learn if you got anything going on behind that crawl space or attic by calling Crawl Pros. They'll come out to your house just like they did to mine, do the corner-to-corner inspection. In my case, they found the problem, showed me the pictures, and then they got it all fixed. Now, if they do discover your home is under or improperly insulated, they'll show you all the utility rebates that are available to help you get the work done correctly. Like if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could get a rebate to cover up to 95% of the cost of the insulation job. If you're worried anything is going on in your crawl space or attic, including critters, water intrusion, mold, plumbing issues, anything, call Crawl Pros and schedule your free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
You're 62 or older, lots of equity in your home, and you want to pull some cash out, but a refinance or HELOC, well, it means a bigger payment. And the cost of selling your home, it's insane. So what should you do? Hey, Brock Ewart here for Tila Mortgage. You don't need to live at a lower standard than you deserve. You really got 3 options. Number 1, sell your home. 2, get a HELOC or refinance. Or 3, get a reverse mortgage. Tila has done the analysis and believes that a reverse mortgage is the most cost-effective way for seniors to get cash out of their homes without selling and having the option of no monthly mortgage payment. Too good to be true? No. Call today and let's compare. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Give them a call today. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
I'm Chris Davis, former King County prosecutor and founder of the Davis Law Group in Seattle. If you've been injured in a crash caused by impaired or drunk drivers, there are special considerations that need to be taken to protect your legal rights. Davis Law Group's team of investigators and lawyers know how to properly investigate DUI crashes and identify all parties who might be legally responsible for your injuries and damages. Call Davis Law Group at 206-888-8888 or get my free book at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Clogged gutters? Not anymore. K-Guard by Guardian keeps leaves out, water flowing, and your home protected year-round. No maintenance, no rust, just lasting peace of mind. Guardian Roofing, the original Make Your Roof Last company. Visit GuardianRoofing.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma.